If we're gonna blow it up, let's light the wick. You said we'd moon, I said this chart looks sick. If you wanna vent about the dip we took, spent all your green on a shitcoin crook. And now someone else is pumping bags, the same old stock you swore would never lag. The ticker still haunts my screen at night. It's sad your bull runs never look quite right. Now I always said I'd sell too late, but some regrets just compound great. And this'll sting a loss I can't redress, 'cause the next 20 candles might just eat what's left. Burn slow. I hate to say that leverage made me bold, but without that margin I'd have never been sold. And patience is a wicked game I've held through hell for pennies gained. You whispered diamond hands are bust, I whispered back I don't believe in trust. But here we are in this charted mess, and your exit plan's a damn good guess. Ain't it though? I always said I'd sell too late, but some regrets just compound great. It stacks, and this'll sting a loss I can't redress, 'cause the next 20 candles might just eat what's left. Good luck. What if I never time it right? Always chase the highs, miss lows at night again. What if I can't stop pressing by? Am I in too deep or just afraid to try? I always said I'd play it smart, but now I'm bleeding in this candle chart. Red flood, and this'll hurt a dip I won't confess, 'cause the next 20 candles might just be my best shot.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a beautiful Tuesday, January the 13th. We are starting it early because we're celebrating inflation and CPI and all that good jazz. And fingers crossed, we might be hearing from our boy Rick Santelli today, which is always a phenomenal day. But you might be noticing that I'm speaking at 10x my normal speed. Why is that? Did he take meth? Did he take cocaine? No, I did not. I don't even accuse me of that. It's more exciting news, if I'm going to be completely honest. Folks, breaking news. Hang on. Let's get into it. Attention on the casino floor. We have a breaking news announcement. Folks, a mere 2 minutes ago, as we were all jamming out listening to that intro song, your boy found out he became $30,000 richer. What a way to kick off a Tuesday. What a way to get fucking rocking. 2 minutes ago, PA payout approved, Apex Trader funding, 2,001, 2, 3, 12, 15 of them, $30,000 richer. What a fucking day. Days can't really improve much beyond this. I wonder if we should just call it here. I'm really wondering if we should just make this a 2-minute show, a 3-minute show, just shut her down and come back on Wednesday, because it feels like we're peaking early. It kind of feels like my romantic life when I peaked in middle school, and ever since then, it's just been downhill. It feels like we're at one of those points where maybe we just need to wrap it up for the day and move on with our lives. So that's where I'm at. No one's even here. Viewers are down. They're going to be missing out. This is why you show up early, folks. This is why you don't want to not only face potentially getting a demerit, which is horrible. It's on your record forever. But everyone else who joins later, this is now just our secret. Everyone who's joining at 9:30, think about all those scrubs who are about to join at market open. They're going to miss this entire thing. Not only are they going to miss finally your boy having a little bit of success, they're missing out on that. For sure. They're missing out on Rick and the CPI. They're going to miss out on any potential insider jokes we create in the next hour. And then they're just going to be here for market open saying, hey, like, why are we up? Why are we down? What's going on? They're missing out on so much. Like, they're sleeping in. They're lazy. And that's the problem with the new generation. They're not like us. They're not getting up at the crack of dawn of 8:26 to get into these quote unquote digital coal mines early. This is different. We're just a breed of a different cloth. We understood from our great-grandparents that you got to get up at the crack of dawn and yell at a camera to pay your bills. You know, it's an honest day's worth, and they just don't get it. They just don't get it. Anyway, I do appreciate you joining me early. Maybe we shouldn't be focusing. That's negative energy. We're putting out negative vibes into the universe, focusing on the people not doing what they should be doing. I should be focusing on those of you who are here now in the present doing exactly what you should be doing. So let me do my job. We are joined here early today because we are celebrating inflation. It is another monthly holiday. Stock futures slip ahead of consumer inflation report and bank earnings. Yes, we're going to be getting into that, but I just want to let you know we are here because in 3 minutes, we are getting the CPI report, the Consumer Price Index. This is an important inflation report, especially heading into the FOMC meeting at the end of the month, I believe January 28th. As of right now, we could go to Kalshi to check it out. I believe there's a 95% chance. Fed interest rate. Yeah, Fed decision. That was it. I just saw it. Nope, not Grammy. Fed decision in January. It's a 94% chance that there's no rate cut whatsoever. So we're going to see. Obviously, inflation and jobs are the two things that they should be considering. So ideally, we're getting a bit more information on that very, very soon. Just so you know, the line in the sand year over year is 2.7%, and month over month, it's 0.3. Remember, we're looking for neutral inflation or lower than expected to quote unquote be bullish, because obviously we don't want our dollar to continue to be debased, especially at the race that it's been debased. So I just want to put those out there, and really with any amount of luck today, let me put up the SPY, let me put up the 15-second. With any amount of luck, we should be able to hear from our boy Rick Santelli. Folks, you have exactly 60 seconds, 1 minute. This is a Nick Cage movie, Gone in 60 seconds, except it's tell me your prediction in the next 60 seconds. Are you bullish, bearish, or neutral, or are you just scared? And right now, those are your 4 options: bullish, bearish, neutral, scared. You have to tell me one of those 4, A, B, C, D, bullish, bearish, neutral, scared. You have seconds to tell me. If you vote after, doesn't count. Does not count. You can't, even if you're right, you can't walk around for the rest of the day with your head held up high saying that you picked it properly, because you did it. You have to get your vote in, and you have 30 seconds left. Fast. I love Nicolas Cage. Who doesn't? Gone in 60 Seconds is probably one of the best cinematic masterpieces to have ever graced our screen. Bullish, neutral, bullish, bearish, green, both. Scared to be bearish. Bullishness, I'm high. Mr. Kennedy, this early in the morning? Come on, man. That's an afternoon ritual for you. Come on. All right, let's get ready. Bulls out of the gate. Look at that God candle. All right, let's see what they have our boy Rick talking about. Let's bring him on.
Down to me is that this shouldn't come as a shock to anybody. The president has certain desires, and he acts a certain way. I think the market has priced this exactly perfect.
Bulls are winning. We've gone from 694.50 to 696. We are up $1.50.
It's transparency.
Look at that pippity-poppity route to a new all-time high, folks.
Price index, We're expecting a
Hoo-wee.
headline number up 0.3%, and
Dude,
it's
small
delivered.
cap
That's
is
exactly what we
fucking
received,
zooming.
up 0.3%.
Bitcoin's looking
now,
good.
if you look at the previous month in August, it
Gold
was up
or gold.
0.4. September it
Silver.
was up 0.3. So this fits
Buddy.
right in.
Let's
If you
put
look
on
at
some protective eyewear.
Food and energy, known as
Let's
core
get
on a
ready
month over
today.
month, it's a tenth cooler
Let's
than
get
expected.
ready.
It's up
Ooh,
0.2.
buddy.
Now, if you look at year over year, up
buddy.
2.7 expected, 2.7 arrives. The one glimmer here on the year over year is the core comes in a tenth light to expectations, but the 2.6 level is where we've been. And my favorite numbers, and they really are my favorite numbers, Joe.
Bulls
if we look at
are
the index,
winning.
the index on the non-seasonally
Bullish.
adjusted index, this started
Bullish.
in 1913. The index number 324. And why is that important? Because once again, it's a new all-time high. Pretty much, not all the time, but pretty much every month, we get a new all-time high. 1913. And if you look at the 1957 rendition,
Great year,
which is
1913.
the core CPI, it comes in at 331 and change. And of course, that's also an all-time high, which goes to all the great conversations you've had.
Oh,
on
and it's still
swap
going.
bonds.
Look
We
at
don't
this
want
monster.
disinflation, really.
Look
We don't
at that
want
monster.
deflation.
Folks, we
And
caught
the
one.
compounding nature of
There's
what's
a
going
whale.
on
We got a
probably
great
isn't
white
going
on
to
the end of
abate.
this lure
so
today.
What's the real answer for all grown
We
up
got a
about this?
great
We're going to have to
white
grow,
on the end of this
and
lure.
we're going to have
Whoa,
to
check
be
this out.
patient because time is going to heal this
Whoa.
as these prices and various aspects of things like the housing industry become the new norm, and we become less sensitive to where history has been.
I'm just imagining right now you guys
the
explaining
immediate
to your
reaction
wives
is right
that
there.
you get
We were negative
financial
across the
opinions
board.
from
There's the
this
dollar.
guy.
Breakdown, yeah, on rates.
We were 420 on the 10-year earlier.
Yep,
We're 416.
that's the guy who
That's
teaches
been
me about
sort
stocks.
Sort of quiet.
He's on the screen.
What
Might
was
be a bit autistic.
And the stock market liked it.
Right. What are the with
Put
what
up your
you
hands
just
and
said,
drop your
what is-
pants.
what are traders hanging their hat on primarily at this point?
Yeah, most likely
Dude,
we're not going
what
to
a
be getting
fucking
to the
pop.
Fed's target in any quick
New
fashion.
highs. We're
but there
gapping
have been
up,
some
folks.
wild cards that
It's the
many
old gapper.
traders
The old
didn't
gapper
count
and
on.
crapper.
Many thought energy would be much more sticky with respect to inflation, and we see what's going on, whether we agree
Yeah,
or
honey.
disagree.
He teaches
but what's
me
going
about
on with
trading.
Venezuela most likely is going to pay dividends in a lower pricing for gasoline. And in terms of the economy in general, I think there are certain areas that over time on a
Look at
very
that.
long glide path can get closer to 2%. But I think the general awareness out there is that somewhere between 2 and 3, 2.5, 2 and 3/4, and some metrics as high as 3
doggy.
is going to be the new normal. And we're
We
just all
just
gonna
took
have
out
to get used to that.
26,000
And over
on
time, if it
NQ.
comes down a bit, that'll be
Golly.
a good thing. Hey, listen,
Golly
the Fed has
gee
given
willikers.
3 rate cuts for 2025, and personally, I think that matches the situation we're in.
Golly
Very good.
gee willikers.
Thank you, Rick Santelli. Join us now, Wall Street Journal chief economics
always-
commentator and
Did you guys
deputy,
even put Rick in
economics
chat? What the
editor.
fuck's wrong with you
Greg,
today?
Yep. Hey,
Wow.
still
I might as
Greg,
well just
we're-
quit my
I
job.
did think of something
You
when
guys aren't
Rick was
even
singing. If
excited
you're
about
putting
Rick
in,
bringing us to
let's say it's
new
a
all-time highs.
$6,000
Grow up.
toilet,
Honestly, you guys need to grow
the
up.
wrench is $1,800 to put the toilet. I mean, you're going to get up
Is
into
this dip gonna get
it's
bought?
easy to get. I mean, what's a billion
Huge pop.
nowadays? It's not
First
that much,
pullback.
is it?
If this can hold 26,000, I think we
if
get
the point
another
you're making
leg.
is that like even modest rates of inflation still like add to the price level. No, you're absolutely right. But this is a good number for the Fed. It's a good number for the
Who's this
country
guy?
that inflation
Chief
is
Economics
still relatively
commenter,
moderate. The core
Wall
inflation
Street
rate
Journal.
coming in
Greg
a little bit lower
Ip.
than expected. I don't think it moves the Fed in the direction of cutting again, but should
Matt's
we get
Care
further
in the
weakness in the
morning
labor
is
market,
best channel
this certainly
on
means that the
YouTube.
inflation numbers
That's
are
nice.
not giving them a strong reason to hold back.
Yep. Actually, I was talking about how cost overruns at the Fed.
Wait, very quickly. Forgot I was testing a new strategy on MNQ and only made $300. Wait, how many of you guys made money on that pop? How many of you degenerately rode that pop and just bet and made a shitload? Post your gains in chat. Do we have some W's? Do we have some L's? I want to know where you guys are at. Just to be completely transparent, I didn't trade it at all. It is an excellent opportunity to do the 50-50 strategy to pass those Apex accounts. But it looks like some of you like legitimately bet on that. And thus far, I'm seeing some money. We got, let's see it. Post them.
Independence is alive and well. And then with the developments over the weekend, we were back, with nervous Nellies again.
$20 gains.
Really
hey,
worried about
I do a lot for
Fed
20
independence being the end of the world. Then the market closed up.
1,700 made, 2K.
We
huge
need to
gains,
be
1K.
vigilant. That the Fed,
Morning.
and I think the stuff that the chairman said in that video, all that
Micros
was true.
used.
Is it at risk any more
4
than when
evals
LBJ
passed,
threw that
1K,
Fed
3K,
chair up against the wall and said you better cut rates?
4.5.
Yes, it is at risk.
Lots
and I
only
think
trade
people are
after
right to be worried.
9:45.
I mean,
the
on the
TPT,
positive
yeah,
side,
good
the
point,
blowback
standing
to
red.
the alleged investigation of Chair Powell has been so severe that a lot of the people responsible for it are trying to distance themselves from it. The president
started
claims
to
he
get
didn't
that
know
pop.
about it.
Might be
the
faded
US
though.
attorney
Let's see.
in charge
Watch
of
this. Watch
probe
26,000.
claims to
If
say,
it double
hey, we didn't
bottoms
even
there,
use the
that's
word
probably a
indictment.
nice buy. Let's see.
So, and I think that's a reflection that there's still a strong
Look at
muscle
that
memory in
rip,
the body
dude.
politic and among thoughtful policy leaders that you should not
140
go this
point ripper.
distance. But Joe, I guess what I would fall back on is that this
Wow.
is not the last first, and it's not the last attempt by Trump to corral the independence of the Fed. We've seen him repeatedly take runs at the Fed, threatening to fire Chair Powell, trying to fire Governor Lisa Cook, putting his own
7.4K,
White House advisor
Jesus.
on the board of governors. And he has also, through this process of interviewing new candidates to succeed Powell,
I'll pay
made
you
it clear what his
$40 if
priority
you
is.
let me
You
trade
must
next
lower
to you.
interest rates.
Nah, my
And
room's
based
too
on their
small.
public comments, both Kevin Hassett and Kevin Warsh, the leading candidates, have
1.1K
said that
times
is what
20,
they
that's
will
20K,
do.
brother.
So I would say that at least
Let's see if buyers step
24
in right
to
here.
48 hours into this latest brouhaha.
Yeah, look at
it's
all
not
these buyers
perhaps
at 26,000
the death blow
flat.
that
Jesus.
Some of us worried about.
Let's see.
But I think
Might be
that
like
this is
a little
president
fake out
who,
sweep low
does
and
not
then a
give
pop.
up when
Let's
there's
just see
something
this
that he wants,
liquidity.
and I would expect him to
180
come back and
shares.
try this again in some other way.
Sorry,
I guess
this is probably easier to see it
the
right
other
there.
way
We
to-
just took it
the
out at
half-full way of
26,000.
looking
I'm
at it
looking for
is
that
that
little sweep low and
Cooler
then the
heads
pop.
always seem to prevail, and you mentioned it. Yeah, the blowback, and it happens immediately, and it came from the Treasury Secretary. It came from the former Fed, individuals that were on the Fed and former Treasury Secretaries. It came from both sides of the aisle. So we have a system that. Who said it? We try everything else until we do the right thing in the country. Who was that? Churchill or something? I think Churchill.
Let's do everything.
What are we,
If you
quoting
know that,
old people
Greg,
now?
then a lot of the hand wringing and the fear and the over the top angst should have been tempered by knowing that things work out in the end, or maybe not. Maybe the actual specter of something like that happening is why people speak up. So maybe you do need those people that seem perennially pessimistic about the future.
Well, that's the optimistic take, Joe.
The
I guess
future
I'm
under
perhaps not
Trump.
quite-
I should say the future under the bad orange man.
Joe, that's an optimistic
We're
take. I wish I
drifting.
could share your optimism. We had a couple of Republican senators come out against that. But look, one of them, Tom Tillis, has
Drifting.
already announced he's retiring because he has gone up against the president once too often, and he could see the writing on the wall. The other was Lisa Murkowski, who's obviously always had an independent streak.
Yes,
the
she's
vast
a-
majority
Well,
of
Thune-
Republican senators
I saw
haven't really said
Thune-
anything.
Thune, Kennedy, I saw about almost, I didn't see a single one say, yeah, it's a great idea, let's fire Jay Powell. I didn't see a single one say, yeah, this is a great idea. They all were tempted.
No, but the only ones who said they were actually going to use their vote to block the president from appointing a new chair unless this probe was wound down.
Yeah, because he's chairman of that committee, right? Tillis.
No, I believe that's Tim Scott, who's the chairman of that committee.
Okay, well, he's in some position where he won't put a nominee.
There's
up.
the buyers
All right.
stepping in a little bit.
They tell me we got to go. I want you to, if you can call me anytime, day or night, if you're really out on the ledge in something, I will talk you down because I'm very optimistic. More new highs, good GDP, closed southern border. Just
Joe, I'm with you on all those positives. I'm not disputing any of those, and the inflation number is one more reason to be optimistic. I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for the economy and the markets.
Awesome, good. All right, I'm gonna rub it all over myself. Thank you.
What, Joe? What's he doing?
Your eyes.
I don't know. Okay, we've got some breaking news out of D.C. It is involving Microsoft. Going to get straight over to Eamon Javers, who joins us with that news right now. Eamon.
Yeah, good morning again, Andrew. Microsoft is out with an announcement this morning
of 5 core principles that will guide the company's data center expansion around the country and, in theory, mitigate some of the political blowback that we've seen around water use, power consumption, and quality of life in impacted communities. President Trump, you saw him posting about it on social media last night. The president said, "I never want Americans to pay higher electricity bills because of data centers. Therefore, my administration is working with major American technology companies to secure their commitment to the American people." And we will have much to announce in the coming weeks. First up is Microsoft, who my team has been working with and which will make major changes beginning this week to ensure that Americans don't pick up the tab for their power consumption in the form of paying higher utility bills. Now, Microsoft says it's going to abide by 5 new core principles as it builds out its infrastructure. They say, "We'll pay our way to ensure our data centers don't increase your electricity prices. We'll minimize our water use and replenish more of your water than we use. We'll create jobs for your residents. We'll add to the tax base for your local hospitals, schools, parks, and libraries. And we'll strengthen your community by investing in local AI training and nonprofits." And the company says that it's unfair politically and unrealistic for tech companies to ask the public to shoulder added electricity costs for AI. So among other things, the company is committing to not asking for tax breaks from local communities as it builds out its infrastructure. Now, Microsoft President Brad Smith is in D.C. today to talk about all this, and I'll be interviewing him exclusively here on CNBC at 10:30 a.m. Guys, back over to you.
Silver's up,
Okay.
gold's
Eamon,
up,
thank you for
Russell's
that. We'll be looking
up,
forward to
oil's
that
up,
interview. Becky?
bonds spiked.
Thanks, Andrew.
ETH,
When we come back,
sold.
Venezuelan opposition activist Maria Corina Machado is expected
Texas
to meet with
Roadhouse
President
is
Trump on
ripping it.
Thursday. We will speak to Senator Mark Wayne Mullen
Folks,
about the latest developments out of the
everything is
region.
up.
First, though, as we head to a break, take a look at oil prices this morning. WTI back above $60 a barrel. It's up by about 1.9% to $60.62. ICE Brent is at $65.06 a barrel. Stick around. Squawk Box will be right back.
AMD is ripping it, folks. Avago, dude, everything's up. Just everything I'm clicking through is seeing some form of green or another. Some a little bit more, some a little bit less, but I'm seeing green across the board. The only thing probably down is vol. Yeah, the only thing taking a little bit of a hit this morning is vol, as you would imagine. Wow. So the SPY momentarily did spike to a new all-time high. Granted, does it count? Does it not count? Well, the market's not exactly open yet. And in the meantime, we're giving a little bit of it back. But if anything, we're just stabilizing right at this EMA. We're stabilizing just at various important EMAs. Huge pop, a little bit of a pullback. I'm looking for that higher low. We did see on the NASDAQ side, there was a huge reaction to 26,000 flat. We overshot it. We bounced. We overshot it again. Broke down right there. And now we're recovering up to it. So this seems to kind of be that important equilibrium point. And it makes sense. Big technical level, big psychological level, big options level, 26,000 flat. That's exactly what I'm seeing right here on the NASDAQ. So not the craziest dip buy, around 80, risking 66, and you're playing that recovery of 26,000. At this point, the fact that we're above it, if I went long here, which I didn't, just to be clear, I have no position on right now. If I did take it, my stop would already be at break even, and I would already just be like, hey, it's either going to work and I'm making money, or it's not working and I'm out for break even. But as you can see, I currently have no positions, but my accounts are all 2K less than they were. And that's because I did get approved. Look at this bad mamma jamma. Folks, you probably already missed it if you are late to today's show. But I did find out early this morning, right when we were listening to the music, approved. So I requested on the 9th. So it took like a business day and a half. So I requested on the 9th when the market closed. 12th was the first business day. Fast forward to early today, the 13th, approved. I have 15 of them, not 20, unfortunately, but whatever. 15 accounts, $2,000 each, $30,000 payday for me. That was payout number 7, but that's not approved payout number 7 because I've been denied 2. So that is approved payout number 5, and I obviously have denied payouts 2. So 2 plus 5, that's where the 7 comes from. So I believe after this, if I'm understanding the FAQ properly, that from here on out, I think not as many rules apply to my account. If I am understanding it properly, I believe once you get 5 approved payouts, life becomes even easier because not only are you most likely trading with
Squawkbox this morning, tensions between the U.S. and Iran continuing to rise as President Trump works on
we should
his
probably
plan
listen
for
to
Venezuela.
this because
right
crazy stuff is
Republican
happening
Senator
in
Mark
Iran.
Wayne Mullen, he serves on the Armed Services Committee.
What's
Good morning
this guy
to you.
going
I think
on?
we're all trying to understand what comes
Rub
next.
it all over.
I'm so curious about not just what you thought of what's taken place over the last week in Venezuela and the like. Obviously, we can talk about Iran as well, but also just even the reaction, for example, some of the oil company executives on that front.
Well, Venezuela, what we're trying to do is pay attention, one, to our Western Hemisphere, right? For the last 25 years, Andrew, we have paid attention elsewhere, and we've allowed our streets to be flooded with drugs and poison our friends and our family members. And what the president is doing is making a strong focus on our own backyard, which I commend him for. When we start looking at Maduro, in his first administration, the Democrats were criticizing him for not going and getting Maduro because of him being technically a drug lord and using Venezuela to be able to launder money through and poison our streets with the drugs that were flooding our shores coming out of his ports. And so I commend President Trump on taking that strong action, and it woke up everybody in that region. Now what we're going to do is allow Venezuela to choose the direction of their country. 25 years ago, they were a prime example of democracy and of a wealthy nation. You keep in mind, many of your audience, and as you know, Andrew, the oil reserves in Venezuela is greater than Saudi Arabia. But there's been zero investment into it because Maduro didn't care about the oil because there was more money in drugs, and so he used the money or the oil to launder the other drug cartels' money through. Plus, he shipped it on the black market. And so stability is our goal. Stability is what I believe we can bring to the region by just having the U.S. presence in the region. And I think it is definitely put a big squeeze on China. Keep in mind, China was receiving roughly 400,000 barrels of oil a day at a much reduced price on the black market. They were feeding Cuba with oil to keep their economy propped up, and that's no longer there. And so it's put a hard strain on what Russia, China, and Cuba was playing with the communist push in Central and South America. So right. I believe President Trump has made a very good push here to stabilize our region and our hemisphere.
I think there's a critical question, though, about how the U.S. and American oil companies are able to either work or not in Venezuela. The CEO of ExxonMobil last week calling the country, quote, uninvestable. I think there's
Trump's
lots of
really
questions
pissed about that Exxon's
majors,
not playing ball.
About whether they even want to be in the country and what it would take to make it a palatable place to invest, and whether ultimately you'd need boots on the ground to do it.
Well, when you start looking at Venezuela, if they stabilize, most of these majors, including Exxon, is going to run there. We've had relationships. I mean, look at Chevron. We've had relationships in Venezuela for years. The problem was under Maduro, it really became uninvestable because of the destabilization that he caused and the amount of criminal activity that was taking place.
We almost hit 7,000
Once that
flat.
stabilizes, every major company is going to be buying to get involved in that area because there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for the company and for their shareholders, but they want to see stabilization, which, I mean, you can't blame them for that. However, there's going to be one company that's going to step out in front, and they're going to take this opportunity as a time to invest. And President Trump is going to have the U.S. investors back going into Venezuela. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Venezuela and the people of Venezuela that's going to choose what type of government they have moving forward.
I'm curious where you land here. You know, one of President Trump's efforts now is to create more affordability. He wants to bring down the price of oil. One of the ways I think he wants to do it is actually by accessing oil in Venezuela.
50.
If you bring the price down, which would be good for consumers, on the other end, there are so many American, shale drillers, for example, here in the U.S., who need the price, frankly, to be up to make the economics of it work. And so you have this sort of very unique push-pull situation taking place when you have, American companies that could benefit by going to Venezuela, but you have a lot of other Americans who are trying to do the work right here in America, where it could get a lot more complicated.
Yeah, and if you talk to most of these oil companies, they'll give you a range between $60 and $70
race.
a barrel.
I want to
where
do
they
a
need
dinosaur race
to actually be profitable. However, if we can bring stability in the regulatory environment, bring down the regulatory cost of entry into drilling and delivering the product to the market, that price can easily slip from $60, let's say on the low end, down to $45. But we need to do it not just through executive orders. It needs to be done through permit reform, which is why there's myself and several senators on both sides of the aisle and representatives are working on doing that. And we can meet the president's goal. And it's good for Republicans and Democrats as a whole when we can bring down the cost of energy, because, Andrew, you know that energy is a backbone of our economy. You can't build a product, you can't deliver a product without factoring the cost of energy into it. So if we can get permit reform, which the president has made it a staple, we can bring down that cost from, like I said, from the low end about $45 a barrel, and the oil companies can still be profitable and the shareholders can still be happy with it.
Let me ask you a different question. The president's going to be in Davos, Switzerland next week, and there's going to be a lot of talk about geopolitics. There's two views of what's happening in Venezuela. One is the positive view that it's actually maybe boxed in China, for example. The other is that it could potentially give license to China to invade a place like Taiwan. Where do you land on that?
Well, it's comparing apples and oranges, right? We didn't invade Venezuela. We removed an indicted dictator that was running the country, and it was a drug lord. What you're talking about is true invasion of a country of another country, and those are two different things. That's not, you can't compare those two. And what we did was go in and try stabilizing our hemisphere from a drug lord that was poisoning our streets. What China is aggressively working towards Taiwan is they want to reunite a country. They want to bring Taiwan into China because they feel like they have claim over it, which we feel like would cause tremendous amount of destabilization in that region, because they would start controlling and possibly charging shipping lanes to move in and through that area.
We're right at these buyers.
I don't,
right here.
Andrew, I hear people talking about that, but I don't know how people can even make that comparison.
While we have you here, one of the debates we've been having all morning, and it's been a big debate in Washington just the last 48 hours, has been this investigation into the Federal Reserve and Jay Powell, and wanted to get your reaction to hearing about that investigation and some of your Republican colleagues who have come out quite critically about that investigation and the independence of the Federal Reserve.
Well, I haven't been briefed on it. Typically, when something like this happens, I want to lean in and say, listen, let the DOJ do their work their diligence here. If they're bringing charges up or they're investigating this, there must be a reason. And like I said, I haven't been briefed on it, Andrew, at all. But I understand this has to do with his testimony in front of Congress about the building project.
Boom.
Maybe there was some information that he had
didn't hold that one. Came to the next
Congress.
level.
I don't know
retested.
The circumstances. I believe we'll probably be briefed on it in the coming week because there's so much attention on this. But as of right now, there's no way I can comment on something I know very little about.
At some level, are you struck by all living Federal Reserve chairs, former Fed chairs, have now come out publicly against this? You've had a number of some of your Republican colleagues, but also some of the former Treasury secretaries, including people like Hank Paulson. I imagine those people, I don't know, maybe they don't have credibility in your eyes, but it's almost astonishing to see, in this case, so many people so vocal on this particular issue on both sides of the aisle.
Well, in the Federal Reserve, they have a tendency to, circle the wagons around each other, which I always think that the Federal Reserve has more transparency with Congress to begin with. However, I would ask a simple question. Have you been briefed on it? Before you come out and you start making a decision on this, have you been briefed on it? Do you have the details on it? And I would say they probably haven't. If I haven't been briefed on it and the Senate hasn't been briefed on it and Congress hasn't been briefed on it, I would say more than likely they haven't either. And so maybe they should, maybe take a deep breath, look around and think maybe, there is something to this. Maybe there's not, but we can allow the court system. And
I agree
that's what
with
we
that.
have grand juries
just
for.
because
Once the
you're the
evidence
Fed
is
chair
presented
doesn't
to the
mean
grand
you're
jury, they can decide if
perfectly
this is
moral
worth
and
pressing
don't
charges on
we
or
should
not.
be able to look into
talking about
things.
deep breaths. One of the next big questions geopolitically is Iran and what should happen or shouldn't happen next, especially given some of the escalating protests. If you could whisper in the ear of the president, what would you be telling him? And by the way, to the extent that the U.S. would want to do something in Iran, do you believe the president should be going to Congress and the Senate for approval?
Well, first of all, for the regime that is killing its own people, I think they better pay attention to the president's words. The president doesn't bluff. His timing is on his timing, and when he decides to move, he will move. But he has made it very clear that he supports the Iranian people in whatever move they try to move, and that he will keep the mass murdering from going on from this murderous regime that's running Iran and that's been repressing them since 1979.
Senator, I want to thank you, as always, for the conversation. It's fascinating, and look forward to seeing
Andrew.
you again very, very soon.
Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet. Bex?
Andrew, thank you. Up
Bex.
next, a deal in the investment banking sector. Two familiar names for our viewers getting together. We've got the details right after this break. Squawk Box. We'll be right back.
Boring. All right, folks, let's get into the real stuff. So how's the market looking right now? We popped. We've given it back about 2/3. We're finding a point of equilibrium at all the EMAs on the 1-minute chart. Big pop, quickly gave it back. There was an attempted bounce at 8:40, 10 minutes later. Didn't hold, but this next attempted bounce is seemingly doing better. That was obviously SPY. If you're looking at NQ, the NASDAQ, we did break through support at 955. We found another level of support at 45. Double tested that. Pop, pulled back, higher low. Buyers are stepping in. I like that for an initial recovery. So if you can get in with minimal risk, and of course the concept of putting your stop to break even as soon as reasonably possible, not a bad idea. Actually, this cloud breakout, probably not the worst trade. Your initial risk, what's this breakout? Around 68, so we'll call it 69. Your initial risk would be 49, 20 points of risk. Are you okay with that? Are you not okay with that? Your other risk could be 44. Are you okay with that? Are you not okay with that? So that would be the reversal. Of course, if for some reason you're bearish, you could take this failure right here, and your risk is just one of these recent highs. So I'm not telling you to be bullish or bearish. I'm just saying trade whatever direction you feel is appropriate, but it's probably most important to keep your risk in control. Personally, if I had to trade this, and I'm not because the market's not open yet, at least regular trading hours aren't, I would be going long at 69, and my risk would either be 57 or 49. I'd probably use 49 at first, and then on a breakout of 80, I'd be moving it to break even. That's how I would personally play this. So once again, to recap how I would play this if it were the appropriate time of the day, I'd be long right now at 69. My risk would be 49, so I'm taking on 20 points of risk. I'd either do 1 or 2 contracts, but that's because I have more buffer. Of course, you could trade micros instead of minis. And then on this push of 80, I'd be moving my stop to break even, and I would try to ride that higher and higher and higher. If you want a little bit more leeway, you can move your risk from 49 up to 57, and then that'd be cutting it down to basically only 10 points of risk, about $200 per mini contract. That's how I would play this structure myself. Other things I'd be paying attention to. Why I would be more interested in bullish? Well, because the 1 minute is still bullish. Look at all these EMAs. We're on top of it. I don't feel like fading that. I'm not betting on a trend change. If anything, I like to bet on trend continuation. And even though I don't really use it that much, I'm the lowest time frame I'm using is the 1 minute. And before we were just kind of more of doing technical teaching on the 100. So we might as well look at the 500 as well. Looking at that reversal. So I'd feel a bit more comfortable above 72, but still evidently the recovery is above 80. So the extreme swing, your most risk should, in my opinion, be at 44. But once again, that's how I view the market. I'm not saying that's the end all be all. Is it a profitable strategy? Well, my accounts say so, the way I manage it. But maybe maybe you have a strategy that's even better. So I'm in no way pitching that mine is the end all be all system that literally every single person needs to use. I'm just honestly letting you know how I see the market, how I manage my accounts. Maybe sometimes you agree, maybe sometimes you disagree, but that's how I would play this. I would definitely be leaning bullish. The year over year headline inflation came in at expectations. But if you're looking at core, it was a 10th lower than expected, as in we had a neutral to cool inflation report. That's everything that just came out at 8:30. You could see it right here. We came in a little bit cooler than expected right here. Core CPI month over month. Once again, not headline. This is core taking out food and energy. They expected 0.3, came in at 0.2. The other ones were at expectation. So it was neutral to cool. And obviously, as of right now, the market is interpreting that to be bullish. Just so you know, for the remainder of the day at 10 a.m., we are getting new home sales. So any of you particularly paying attention to, I guess, the real estate sector, you might want to pay attention at 10 a.m. And then this afternoon at 1 p.m., we're getting the 30-year bond auction, another thing to pay attention to. So the big impact of the news we've gotten today is basically we are not getting a rate cut in January. We're going to stay exactly where we are at. So technically, this is just over 2 weeks out. It is late January. I want to say Wednesday, the 28th. This right here on call sheet is saying it's in 16 days. I believe that's right. But regardless, 95% chance of no rate change. So even though this isn't guaranteed, it's pretty confident that we are not getting a rate change. So I would not be betting on a lower Fed fund rate at the end of January. But of course, all of this is happening with the backdrop of some craziness currently going on between Trump and Powell. They're definitely going to war against each other. Trump allies and officials fear blowback from Powell probe. Senate Republicans expressed concern with the Justice Department investigation, including Senate Majority Leader Thune. So this isn't exactly in terms of just narrative. I'm not talking about the legality or illegality or overreach of power, underreach of power. I'm exclusively commenting on just the narrative right now. It's not getting as much support from the Republican side as other matters have. So, for example, whether you're looking at the craziness in Minnesota with the fraud, whether you're looking at the craziness in Venezuela, there's a very united front for Trump from the Republicans and against Trump from the Democrats. This particular story of looking into the DOJ's, I guess, probe or investigation into Powell for the building renovations, this is a lot more murky on a relative basis to those other stories. Yes, there is the particular groups of the Democrats, of course, always going against Trump. But this time around, you're not seeing as much of a united front from the Republicans. And it's kind of interesting. Like, there's already a handful of quote unquote prominent Republicans, if you will, that are kind of saying, this is getting a little bit sketchy, man. And then, of course, outside of the world of politics, which I guess it's still technically connected to the world of politics, all of the other people previously related to the Fed here in the U.S. and internationally are all on Powell's side on this. So this story, once again, just from a narrative perspective of support and not support, I'm not talking about the legalities or the implications or anything like that. Like literally just who's coming out and saying, hell yeah, versus the people coming out saying, what the fuck? This one is very interestingly different. And with that being said, even though it's different, which I think is noteworthy, I have a feeling because of the fact that it's like a little bit in murky waters, I think it's going to be one of those things that Trump just kind of slowly but surely distances himself from and lets the story just kind of wither away on the vine. That's my prediction. Obviously, I cannot tell you the future, but right now, I believe the Trump administration, and I would say the last year kind of proves this, he likes these stories that he has big narrative support, big mainstream media and social media support. And when he has that big support, he likes to lean into it. But when he takes these quote unquote missteps that the public's a little bit iffy on, he kind of has this habit of saying, nope, never mind. And he moves on to the next thing. He's very much like he runs his administration of I want to do where I'm always getting the support. Like it's basically just like, am I making quote unquote popular moves? And this one relative to these previous things of calling out Minnesota, the Maduro situation in Venezuela, there was a lot more popular support from his initial base. Of course, he's never going to get support from the other base. We're just talking about his base. This one's getting a little bit iffy. So unless the tides change, and of course with narratives, tides can change, but unless it changes, my prediction is like a month from now, just like this kind of disappears into nothingness. Like, I think it's going to be one of those things where, oh, okay, they looked into it, didn't find anything, moved on with their life. That's my prediction as of now. But hey, maybe there's going to be some sort of bombshell update. That's possible. Powell probes surge GOP concern that to stop Trump nominee. So not only from a narrative standpoint, but this might hurt either Kevin Warsh or Kevin Hassett, who are currently right now the two front runners to be the next Fed chair. We're going to be finding out allegedly soon, whatever that means. I thought we were going to find out in December, so I'm already past my date. Maybe we find out in January. Maybe we find out in February. But in terms of like, yeah, he's maybe losing the plot a little bit on this story. He actually might be creating issues from himself of people just saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to approve who you want to point up to be the next Fed chair if you keep going with this. So there are other implications. Like, none of this stuff is happening in a vacuum. There are, I guess, a ripple effect, a butterfly effect, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But there's more than just narrative here. So could be an issue for Kevin Warsh, could be an issue for Kevin Hassett, who might be the next Fed chair. Global central bankers unite in defense of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Global central bankers defended U.S. Federal Reserve Jerome Powell in a joint statement this morning, Tuesday. The group included the heads of the European Central Bank and Bank of England, among others. Powell has served with integrity, focused on his mandate, and unwavering commitment to the public interest. I want to be very clear on this. Remember, this quote-unquote investigation has nothing to do with the Fed fund rate. It has nothing to do with monetary policy or anything like that. It has everything to do with, I guess, building construction / renovations that apparently can cost billions of dollars. And it really, really centers around, was he 100% truthful in front of Congress? I want to say in 2025, it might be 2024, but please correct me if I'm wrong on that. But remember, when you are yourself considering this case, remember, it has nothing to do with monetary policy. He could theoretically be the best at monetary policy or the worst at monetary policy, and it has nothing to do with this. So I would implore you guys to remind yourself to not look at through the lens of the economy, monetary policy, any of those decisions at that. It exclusively has to do with this building. So once again, let's not lose the overall anchoring point of where we should be viewing this story. And I'm trying to be careful with how I'm wording this, because remember, I wasn't there. You weren't there. I can't tell you, did he do sketchy stuff with the building? Maybe. Did he not do sketchy stuff with the building? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have the evidence. I didn't see the details. I think in general, it kind of smells a little bit iffy that he's being investigated, especially when he's not doing what Trump wants him to do. If there were a Trump puppet as the chair, do I think the DOJ would be looking into him? Not at all. But once again, that's an opinion, and I don't have any of the evidence myself. So I think actually Jerome Powell's a pretty stand-up, moral, ethical guy. I think he's doing the best he can. That does not mean I agree with him on every decision he's made for monetary policy or the group of the FOMC as a whole. No. I'm not saying that. But I do think he's an ethical guy. But also, I could be wrong. I've never met him. I don't know him. I don't know what's going on. Were people getting paid off in construction, or was it completely above board? Folks, this is how America works. We all get our turn with justice, and we're going to see the two cases. More information is going to come out, and we're just going to go from there. It's one of these things that I find whenever there's stories such as this, people make these grand predictions and projections of just hey, I agree with it or I disagree with it because I'm on this political side. And yet we don't have the evidence. For anyone who's saying, no, I'm sure he's guilty or I'm sure he's not guilty, my question is just, how do you know? What information do we have out there that you could be diving into to possibly come up with reasonable logic based by actual empirical evidence? I don't think there's anything out there right now. So this is just a story that we're covering. if I had to guess, once again, this is just guessing, I think nothing's going to be found. I think Trump's going to distance himself from it, and we're not going to hear about this story again in a month, but I don't know. We're going to see what's going on. The numbers don't lie, but that's my point, is there are no numbers out. That's the whole point on this, is nothing is really out there right now at all. We just know that there's an investigation going on. And I find that people are very, very rapidly jumping to conclusions when there is literally the only thing that is publicly available is his testimony to Congress and his chit chat with Trump when they were walking around the building in their hard hats. To my knowledge, that is the only thing. We have the evidence via the over budget balance sheets. Once again, that does not in any way prove criminality at all. That does not, in you having access to the balance sheets does not somehow contradict what he said in front of Congress. And if you think it does, that's crazy. The fact that the corruption is so rampant, investigations help deter immediate future corruption. I have no issue with investigations. But once again, if you're talking about corruption, I think, isn't there also let's reverse engineer that. If your goal is to get rid of as much corruption as possible, instead of something that's in the realm of sub $1 billion, don't you think we should be going after all these states that have over $10 billion worth of corruption? Like, remember, this is in the world of, what was that differential? Maybe 400 million. And right now in Minnesota, we know it's over 10 billion. They assume that what's going on in California, they assume that's going on in Illinois, they assume what's going on in New York is exceeding Minnesota right now. So if our goal is to get rid of corruption, wouldn't it logically mean that we should go after the biggest corruption first? Like, wouldn't that be the best use of resources? To me, that makes logical sense. This idea that the building, and like, I think this is important from a legal standpoint. If you're looking at the Fed, the central bank, as like corrupted as a whole, dude, I'm right there with you. Debasing our dollar, getting off the gold standard, all that shit, super, super sketchy. Unfortunately, that's not what's in question here. We're exclusively talking about building renovations. So if you're saying, oh my God, all of this corruption going on with the central bank, once again, I am right there with you. Unfortunately, that is not in question. I print money, dude. Once again, that is not in question here. We are exclusively talking about the building, like 3 to 4 to 5 buildings. That's the only thing in question. It would actually be more interesting for us to learn in general if, like, central bank and the functioning of it was in question in general. Printing counterfeit money is a crime. Once again, that's not in question here. I am there with you. Hey, I will happily stand beside you if we're generally debating the utility of central banks and the continual debasement of our dollar not being backed by anything. Yeah, dude, right there with you. But once again, that is not in question. That's literally what we're not talking. Like, that's not here. The Justice Department can walk and chew gum. There's a special corruption attorney general to investigate all of those, but they're not looking into it. And apparently they can't walk and chew gum because do you hear about any of these resources taking down? We should honestly be looking at all 50 states. Every single state should be like, all right, we're going to look at fraud going on. And I guarantee you, in terms of the buildings relative to the federal central bank, whatever, Federal Reserve buildings, they're all going to be bigger numbers. This idea that somehow the Justice Department has unlimited resources. Do they have a lot of resources? Of course they do. But they don't have unlimited resources. And regardless of how many they have, the fact that it's finite means we have other shit to be looking at. So this idea, I see a lot of people making the logical misstep of assuming this PAL thing has to do with the actions of the central bank as it relates to monetary policy or the central bank functioning as a whole, as you guys were saying, of even, hey, like, what about printing money? Yeah, that's an interesting thing to chit chat about and talk about. Unfortunately, the DOJ is not looking into that whatsoever. You smell the corruption too. He's guilty. Once again, corruption of what? You guys can't even point to anything because there's just no evidence out there. I'm not saying he's not corrupted. I'm not saying he is corrupted. I'm just saying we have to reasonably just, like, as a human, you have to be like, I don't know. We have to wait for evidence to become publicly available. And I don't know why that's a contentious thing. I feel as if maybe a decade ago, that's how most people operated when it came to the world of politics and these big grand things. But now there's a lot of people starting with this base assumption of guilty, not guilty, corrupted, not corrupted. Since when did it become like a crime to actually say, maybe we just need to wait for more evidence to come out? Maybe? Like, I don't understand that. Like, and yet right now in the two different chats, it's kind of fascinating to me that I'm already seeing people right away jump to, nope, that's corrupted, he's guilty, or the other side jumping to not corrupted, not guilty. Isn't the most logical thing to just say, oh, we just need to wait for more information? Like, isn't that how like a reasonable, logical adult would be approaching this situation? I'm a little bit confused as to how many quote unquote grown adults in here are already like steadfast in their opinion of what's going on, when if we rounded to the closest number, you'd be at 0% evidence or information on this particular situation. I don't get it. It actually blows my mind that so many people are so confident on this. But regardless of the central bankers backing him up, apparently meme traders are. He's their daddy. Meme stock traders rush to Powell's defense. Individual investors take to social media to cheer on Fed chair who accused White House of using criminal probe to pressure central banks. So remember, retail traders, institutions, meme pump traders, they love Daddy Powell due to the history of quantitative easing, pretty lax monetary policy, and the fact that, I mean, at the end of the day, the market is going to be most influenced by monetary policy. And if you haven't checked, we literally just hit a new all-time high. So yeah, there is a reason why retail traders and meme traders love them. And in all reality, I wanted to show you this just because I thought that this GIF was pretty funny of Daddy Powell dancing back and forth. Just thought it was hilarious. All right. So other things you should know about today. Yes, if you're joining right now, just so you know, at 8:30 this morning, at this point, 45 minutes ago, we got the CPI report, the inflation report. The year-over-year headline, they expected 2.7. It came in at 2.7. Why the market is up, or at least initially popped, and we're now once again re-popping, is because the core CPI, remember, core is when you take out food and energy, as in they're not in the calculation for that type of inflation. They expected the month over month to be an increase of 0.3. It was an increase of only 0.2. So less than expected, but still an increase. Remember, folks, inflation is still going up. The argument is commonly the rate of inflation. Your month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year, your money is becoming less valuable. That's what these numbers are telling you. Relative to December of last year, your money was 2.7% less valuable. That's not exactly how the math works, but you get my general point that literally every single day that passes, because we live in an inflationary economic, I guess, world, it's always becoming less valuable. If you have $1 today, it's slightly less valuable tomorrow. It's slightly less valuable the next day. And that's been going on, honestly, ever since the creation of the central bank. And I believe over the past 100 years, the debasement of the US dollar, we're down 97, 98%. So literally to 100 years ago, your purchasing power of $1 is down about 98%. So remember, when you're talking to your parents, when you're talking to your grandparents, and everyone's like, back in my day, I could buy a house for 6 raspberries. Well, back in the day, the raspberry had a lot more purchasing power. And right now, even if you just look at general rents, if you look at general income, all the dollar values are just being inflated. Guess what? Because of inflation. This is what happens when you could just print and print and print and print and print and print. Think about anything, supply and demand. When you're continually increasing the supply of US dollars and the demand is whatever the demand of the US, but you're increasing the supply so much, that overlap point of supply and demand, the equilibrium, that's what value is. That is price. And if you look at the US dollar, it is nothing but down and down and down, which is exactly why we're seeing gold at all-time highs, silver at all-time highs, the phenomena over the past decade of Bitcoin ripping from nothingness to about 92,000. People are obviously looking to store their purchasing power somewhere else. And it makes sense, because if you think about this from a very philosophical, theoretical standpoint, you work all week, let's say 40 hours, and you get paid. You are paid X amount. That X amount for that time you put into it, time the commodity you're never going to be getting back, all of a sudden you get that paycheck, but what you were rewarded for that work of, let's just say, a work week of 40 hours, it's always going to be eroding. And obviously, for good reason, people don't like that. Think about, truly think about what that means. You dedicate a week of your life to a particular job. You are paid X amount. You are given your paycheck, and most likely in the US dollar. And then if you do nothing with it, it does not retain its value. All of that time you dedicated to get X amount of pay does not hold steady. It slowly erodes. And that's kind of why gold bugs are so excited about gold. Great, a store of value, a store of my effort for a period of time. Same thing with Bitcoin. These are the overall arguments of getting out of fiat currency because they're always getting debased, which means that your effort per time is not stable. If you keep it in the US dollar, it's actually going down and down and down. Gold is a hedge for the rich. Well, technically, it could be a hedge for anyone. You can invest in gold yourself if you want. It's not that hard. Silver is for the working man. Maybe. I mean, they do have different applications that I think should be considered. And my effort at work erodes at the same pace. All right, that's a valid point. All right, so just so you guys know, tomorrow is also a big day. So we got the CPI today. Tomorrow is the PPI. So from CPI to PPI, that's the producer price index. Same time we get retail sales. And also tomorrow, Wednesday, January the 14th, we're expected to hear from the Supreme Court in terms of the legality of Trump's tariffs. More specifically, can he implement those duties via IEEPA, the IEEPA? That's what the Supreme Court is basically determining. Can that one particular act, law, whatever the fuck you want to call it, does that allow the sitting president to implement tariffs and or duties? And why it's becoming a legal dispute is because IEEPA itself does not say anything about tariffs or duties. So it's kind of in this gray area, which is exactly why the Supreme Court is determining what is legal, what is not legal. We should be finding out tomorrow. That's the big rumor. We were supposed to hear about it last week. Obviously, they punted the ball. So maybe we find out tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we're finding out tomorrow. So that's another thing that you have to have on your radar. But with that being said, you should also be mindful of the fact that in the event that they are deemed to be illegal, which right now there's about a 70-30 chance that they are illegal, the Trump administration does have 2 to 3 different things up their sleeve where they can extend the tariffs and the duties, at least in the short term. So it's not like they're going to be disappearing overnight. But in terms of the money that's in question here, it's anywhere from $135 to $150 billion in collected duties already. So yes, just the initial financial amount is quite vast. But then beyond that, Trump brought up the interesting point on his Truth Social yesterday that if they do disappear, what about all the agreements with these companies that are saying, hey, because of tariffs and we want to avoid them, we're going to be building a whole new manufacturing plant in the U.S. Obviously, those things take more time than what really has already been implemented with tariffs. So are those jobs going to get pulled? Are those manufacturing facilities not going to exist? So beyond just that pure dollar amount of $135 to $150 billion, there might be second and third order type of implications that we should obviously be paying attention to. Now, respect to individual equities, we are back in earnings season as of this morning. It's been a while, my friend, but we are here with earnings. So today we heard from JP Morgan and Delta. Tomorrow, Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank of America. Thursday, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and Friday, PNC. As you can tell, I listed a bunch of financial plays, so either check them individually or check XLF, which is the financial subsector of the S&P 500. The other one I want to put on your radar is TSMC, which is going to be our bellwether Taiwan semiconductor. It's going to be our bellwether for the AI trade. So that one is on Thursday. Feel free to screenshot this or go to @eWhispers. Of course, it's also in the weekly newsletter that you can sign up for. My mod will drop it in chat. It's also in the description of the video. It is 100% free, and you can see that I kind of highlight the main ones I think you're going to end up caring about. So we are back in earnings season. JP Morgan Chase tops estimates as trading revenue exceeds expectations. So let's see how JPM is doing. Right now, it is currently up 0.44. So it's green, but not the most green that we've ever seen. BlackRock cuts hundreds of jobs, trimming about 1% of staff. All right, BLK, I want to say. Yeah. BLK is currently down 0.2, so really no real, I guess, movement there. And the other one is Delta, DAL, which is actually down 3.8%. Delta forecasts 20% jump in 2026 profits, ordering first Boeing Dreamliners. So basically, I would say financials right now are neutral to bullish. And then if you're looking at air carriers here, the airline industry, it's actually evidently down. And one interesting note on the world of Delta is, remember, all these large air carriers, Delta, United, American, Southwest, they're all extremely similar. So if you look at Delta right now, it's down 3.8. Guess what? If you look at UAL, it's going to be a sympathy play. Guess what? It's down 1.1. Did it have earnings? No, but the world knows that these business models are so similar that if the first one's doing well, most likely the others are doing well. If the first one's doing poorly, most likely the others are doing poorly. This is a particular industry that it's very easy to extrapolate forward to the similar other companies. And once again, I'm talking about the large air carriers, which I just listed the four. Once again, Delta, United, American, and Southwest. Those four pretty much move in lockstep, which is why even though United didn't have an announcement this morning, even though Southwest didn't have an announcement this morning, they're all in the same bucket. So just want to put that out there, that very easy to extrapolate forward, specifically in the airline industry. By the way, you could also do that with similar banks, but certain banks get their profits from other sources. So you want to overlap similar banks to similar banks, but that's another thing that you could easily do. Like I said, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do so. It's 100% free. You've never had to pay for it. You never will have to pay for it. Every single Sunday to your email inbox, I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for the major macroeconomic events. Today at 10 a.m., we still have the new home sales. And at 1 p.m., you have the 30-year bond auction. And then with respect to seasonality, today is kind of weird. It's leaning bearish over the past 27, 28 years worth of information. The bulls have won it 46% of the time, so the bears have a 4% edge. The profit factor is almost neutral. For the first patch, it was kind of bearish, then it became clearly bearish, and then over the past 7 years, it's actually bullish. So I would say it's kind of neutral, and that doesn't mean I think the day itself is going to be choppy. It just means for this one individual day, I'm not taking it into account because it's kind of just netting itself out. Just so you know, tomorrow it's leaning bullish, but similar choppiness. Thursday is a bit more evidently bearish, and then Friday, I would actually say it's leaning bullish. It's just had a little patch of bearishness for about 3 years there, but other than that, it's very evidently bullish. So this particular week, there's not absurdly strong individual days, but the week as a whole is actually dominated by the bulls. Once again, putting the whole week together. Let me see if I can get this tool up. Let me log in very quickly. Let me switch that back. This visibility 29. Hang on one second. I'm trying to log into everything that's appropriate. What is my password over here? Just one final note on seasonality before the market opens. Shout out to Edgeful right here. Stock Spy, seasonality, come on. Weekly right here. So over the past 5 years, the week we're in right now is neutral. The next 2 weeks are bullish. Over the past 3 years, bullish. So I just want to put that out there that yes, sometimes you can break down seasonality. You could break it down into whatever strata you particularly want for time frame. Sometimes you want to look at mornings, afternoons. Sometimes you want to look at the day, the week, the month, the quarter, the year, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. But looking at the weekly on the last 5 years, this week is neutral. Next week, bullish. Over the past 3 years, last week was bullish, this week's bullish, and the next 2 weeks are still evidently bullish. So just wanted to give you an idea of the headwinds and the tailwinds that we can ascribe to seasonality. And on that note, the market's about to open. So let me give you those key levels. As of this moment, momentum is bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish on the S&P 500. Looking at the NASDAQ, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. So momentum is bullish. So when I put that together with the fact that we had an all-time high, and we know commonly the trend of the overall market, not for individual equities, some is true, some is not true, but with respect to the overall market, new highs commonly beget new highs. If you were to map out an entire calendar year and you mark out where the new highs are all clustered together. They don't really happen sporadically. It's like you get a series of new highs and then it takes a breather. A series of new highs you take a breather. So right here, we're in our series of getting new highs. So because of that, and also the short-term momentum, I am leaning bullish. But once again, that doesn't mean that I can't be bearish today. It just means I'd have to be convinced otherwise. But these are the key levels I'm paying attention to. If we were to open at this exact second, we would be at 6989, which is a brand new all-time high because yesterday's high was 86. So the first thing you should be thinking about is the downside gap fill, which today isn't much. It's only 3 points to the south side, but something to point out. As I always do, I mark out the high, the low, the close. That's the green, the red, the white. The white box is the transition zone. Above it, bullish. Below it, bearish. Within it, choppy. And then the final thing are these yellow horizontal lines, which is where all the big money is positioned. It's where we see large bets at key levels of positive gamma, which is the purple, and the negative gamma, which is the red. And on that particular note, dingity, ding, ding, ding. Welcome to the world's largest casino. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, let's see if we can make a little bit of money today, or better than that, a lot of bit of money today. All right, we're going to be checking out the options flow. I don't need that at the exact moment. I'm going to give it a little bit for this to cook, see what's going on. Doesn't look like we have a downside gap fill on SPY. Doesn't look like we have one on SPX either. So there is no gap to be playing just from the pre-market session. But as you can see, we're finding a little bit of support right at the top of the transition zone, which is just above where we closed yesterday. The first real test would be probably up here at 86 and 85. There is a big open interest level there. You could see it right here. That is the start of positive gamma transitioning to negative gamma. So I'm watching 85. And then of course, past that, you'd kind of be crazy to not be paying clear attention to 7,000. But hey, I guess it takes all kinds. So I'm looking for this test up here. Once again, 85 to 86. If a base is made there, my next evident test of 7,000 is up. So don't be surprised if people take profits a little bit early. We've seen it many times, 96, 97, 98, 99, where you have all those zero DTE option players choosing to lock in their profits beforehand. Totally possible, not guaranteed. Just something that I want to put on your radar before we really get rocking today. For me, I'm going to be waiting to more so see the setup. I'm well aware that we have the new home sales report at 10 a.m. For me, I don't think that's necessarily the end-all, be-all report, so I don't mind having a position before it. Sometimes there are announcements at 10 that I deem to be impactful enough that I don't want to be in a position before, but new home sales is just not one of them. AMD is ripping right now. It's up 5.7%. Holy cow. It's definitely the biggest gainer on my watch list. AMD is a monster. Yeah, a nice technical recovery. It's above the EMA cloud. If you took it, your risk is 200, so you have to be okay with an $18 risk. But it's really trying to recover there on an intraday basis. That's quite impressive. Okay, here's options flow. Mag 7, granted, we only have 2 to 3 minutes worth of information, not the most going on right now. So I'm just waiting for us to collect more data. I have on no live trades at the moment. Google, is that another new all-time high? It is. Google hit another new all-time high. I know some of you in chat have been riding this, and honestly, a huge congrats to you. I know that ever since like this pop and the pullback, people started to layer into positions here, not only in chat, but also in the Goonie Trading Discord. Basically a position somewhere between 300, 310, already trading at 337. This thing is just up and away. In fact, it's actually the number 2 company in the world now, just behind NVIDIA. It leapfrogged Microsoft. It leapfrogged Apple. Google is officially the second biggest company in the world. Is everyone X down right now? Is it down? It looks like X is having an issue. Well, the world is about to burn. Yeah, X is down for me. Maybe it's a regional based thing. So if you're in New York, maybe it's that, or maybe it's global. I don't know. How are we supposed to trade without knowing what's going on at X? What in tarnation? What in the hay? What the fuck? Wow, we're really moving like it's nothing today. A little VWAP kiss early this morning down at 9:30, right on minute one. I guess that's not the most surprising. Oh, brother. Mag 7 flattening out. SPY maybe bottom there. We're 5 minutes into the day. Oh, brother. Oh, mother, oh, brother. Piper, what do you think we should do? Oh, mother, oh, brother. Here's a lookup book map pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video if you want to see where the big people are positioned. I think it's a very, very useful tool for active day trading. I actually love to see where people have positions, don't have positions. I'm surprised there's not more people lined up at 26,000 flat. That's kind of what I was anticipating. A little bit of what I was anticipating. Oh, there they go. There they are. All right, maybe a pullback to 70. It is a recent swing low over here. It's also the point of control. POC is point of control. That's just where most people have traded at today. It is slightly different than the VWAP readings. Oh, little pop there. Little pippity pop there. What do we have going on? All right, I guess we're making, 26,026 is where I'm seeing people trying to do something. What's interesting, though, is the Mag 7's taking a hit while the SPY Delta is popping. That's why, like, from a technical perspective, I like this long, but what I'm getting confused about is this Mag 7 movement while the SPY is popping. Completely opposite movement. People are not touching puts on the Mag 7, but they are happily selling calls, while on the SPY, they are kind of getting out of puts, they're kind of getting into calls, but overall, on the S&P 500, a clear drift to the upside, while I probably would have gone long if this looked better. I just don't know why there's so much call selling right now. And I would rather miss a trade than be in a trade that I shouldn't be in, is kind of my overall mantra. But this, on like deeply looking exclusively at price action, I like the setup. I would have gone long. What's stopping me from doing it is this right here. Why are people selling Mag 7 calls so much? And actually, I'm happy it stopped me because look it, we just took a pretty, here, I'll dive into that. We just dipped from 96 down to 65. So 30 points, that's $600. Of course, we can recover at any moment, but there's a little bit of a base there. A little bit of a base there. Is that it? Is that the end of the call selling? Okay, the calls have gone flat. You never know if there's going to be an attempt number 2 at this situation, though. But it's not like freaking me out, but it's obviously on my radar. And this is the one thing of, even though Icarus fired to go long, Icarus does not consume options data. It only consumes price data. So sometimes I have to fact check, do I like what's going on with options to actually take the trade, take the signal? And right here, I see bearishness switching to being neutral. It's not even ticking up yet. And actually right there, the SPY just took a little bit of a hit as well. So I think I just need to be a little bit more patient. I think I need to be a little bit more patient on this one. A wee bit more patient. But once again, that's me. If you're seeing something different that you very much like, have at it. I'm just kind of talking out loud and letting you guys know what's going through my brain. Google all-time high, AMD, biggest gainer on my watch list. Oh. All right, we're at 26,000 right now. I'm seeing some sellers at 26,026. Actually more there than at this key psychological level, which is interesting. Clear bounce off of the, point of control at 970. Let's see how this goes. All right. And we are holding 26,000. Let's see how, well, obviously in hindsight, I wish I played that, but I have my rules there for a reason. The Mag 7 flow is still not looking as strong as I would like it to. The Q's looking for that breakout of yesterday's high. We're about to test. While the SPY can best be defined as going nowhere. It's just going sideways. We've been range bound since minute one. The Qs are testing yesterday's high right now. And surprise, surprise, we are running right into that first level of selling, 25. And now we're running into this almost the second level of selling, which is around 36. So there was people at 26, people at 36, people at 50. All right, finally on that pump, Mag 7 is starting to improve a little bit right here. We're starting to see a little bit of an upswing. And same thing with the SPY, a little bit of a higher high, higher low type of a situation. So let's see if it can hold. Maybe it's a rejection right on this breakout. See how the Qs are right at the high from yesterday. The SPY is right at the high. People might decide to take profits there. That's something you have to be mindful of. SPX is high as 986. That's also the all-time high. So be careful of that. But once again, if it can break out and hold, I'm looking at 7,000 or at least close to it. Maybe not exactly the level. Maybe I'd front run it a little bit. But let's see. Twitter is still down for me. I don't know if it's down for you folks or not, but it is still down for me. Google, whatever intraday high you see, that is the new all-time high. Google's a monster. It just keeps pushing. Google is up quite a bit. So AMD is up the most on my watch list, followed by Google. And then other than that, it's kind of a mixed bag from what I'm seeing. SPY is making some sort of move here. All right, NQ is about to go for the pre-market high, which is basically 650. No surprise that people are lined up at 650 and 660. But right here, we hit that right at 830, 830. That's like the most extreme we got to. These are very, very common targets. As a day trader, that is something you can watch every single day, the overnight trading session high and low. And if you can get on the right side of the trend, the high or the low is taking out in excess of 85% of all trading days. Very good target levels to have. Obviously, the trick to it is, are you on the right trend for the top one or the bottom one? And can you get into it with obviously minimal risk? But yeah, 650, technically, what was that? 4550. So 26,045 is the exact level. And in terms of where people are positioned at right now, they're at 45. But where do we get rejected? We got rejected right here at 41. So roughly within that zone. A little bit of a pullback. Not the most surprised. How's the options flow looking? Mag 7, it got a little bit of a pop, but just not that much follow through. Like, even though I obviously could have made my money on the day if I rode that up, I really don't mind that I skipped the trade because I'm following my system. The Mag 7 flow is just not looking good right now. So I would rather not get caught up in a fake out. Granted, in hindsight, I could have taken the trade, but I've seen this too many times before where I get into it and then guess what? A dump happens. Folks, I've literally been calling this out in real time to you to say that something is sketchy, something is a little bit off, and I get it. If you got in and you got out, you could have made good money. But look at that dump from 40 down to 60. We just dumped 80 points like it was nothing. And how did I know to misstep that? I've been streaming it to you of saying something's off here. Doesn't really necessarily pass the smell test. I've seen this action right here too many times before when I see this type of mismatch. When I see a mismatch, literally just sit on your hands. We don't have to overcomplicate this, folks. Just sit on your hands. If you're not liking the setup, you don't have to trade. And of course, sometimes it goes in your favor anyway, and you're like, shucks, I could have done it. But remember, the other portion of the time, it is completely fictitious. People get rugged and you lose money. Remember, mathematically, it is very, very different to miss out on a winning trade than it is to be in a losing trade that you shouldn't have been in. Just in terms of percentage impact to your account, you have to consider the worst case situation, going long and getting rugged, rather than the other situation where I could get in, but if it does work, if you have a $10,000 account, it is mathematically more impactful to lose $1,000 and go down to 9 than it is to gain $1,000 and go up to 11. It's just math. It's just, it is literally just math. So I'm trying to be patient and wait to see how this goes. The S&P 500 also took a hit. I want to be watching VWAP as well now. As we've talked about, what is today? Today is Tuesday. So was it Friday where we were explaining the VWAP retest? Or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. Does anyone in chat remember when we were talking about the VWAP retest and how often we're seeing it, where the initial pump is one way, whether it's up or down, so it's a pump or a dump. Then we got the retest of VWAP, and then the trend is actually going to be established. So you don't I kind of refer to my system as catching the second impulse, the second wave. I don't necessarily want to be in the first because I've just seen too many fake outs where it does something like this. It retests and then it goes. And sometimes the first movement, the first wave, the first impulse is the real thing. And if you don't catch it, you don't catch it. But I've seen too many times where it's a fake out where I'd rather get in on the second one. And if I miss the first one and that's the only one, whatever. I have a scratch day and I move on with my life. But right here, just to be clear, I don't know if we're touching VWAP. It is down at 950. I could see the EMAs have switched a little bit, but there is a chance people just react to 26,000. That is a key level. You have the point of control up here at 87. Buyers might choose to step in, and that's our point here is you just wait. You just have to have the patience and wait, and who knows? I might look over here, and the options flow might be absolutely phenomenal. I do need to double check Meta. I'm getting an alert on Meta. Fuck you, Meta. Oh, shit. Fuck Meta. Folks, if you're in the Discord, here, I'll throw this up so you can see what's going on. I did get a trade filled. Settings. Wait, history. If you're in the Goonie Trading Discord, I did get a fill on one of the QQQ put credit spreads. So I'm trying to take a snapshot of that. Hang on, taking a quick screenshot. Sorry about that. But should be good now. All right, downloads. Where are you guys? Thick swing trades? Yeah. All right, I'm putting this in just so you guys know I did get my fill. QQQ filled. Sweet. So I have 2 of those positions for different expiration dates. The one for the 23rd already got that fill, which is very, very nice. And the other one, I believe, is super close to getting its fill. It is super close. So I'll probably be out of both of the Q put credit spreads today and lock in some gains. But we're struggling now at 6,000. Maybe we recapture it, but it seems like price action is getting pretty comfortable at the point of control. And I just want to let you know that VWAP is down here at 950. So point of control is roughly 80, 6,000, 26,000 is a big breakout. And obviously 950 is kind of support. So it's overshooting the recent 2 swings that we had at 943 and 938, but it's above this swing at 932 and this swing at 930. Don't be surprised if we're about to get a VWAP retest because we've seen this a gazillion fucking times. And when you see the same play over and over and over and over and over, if you're still surprised by the same shit happening, and why does it happen? Well, it's because not only small players, but big players, they can also recognize what VWAP is, and they're not going to chase along because They are disciplined, professional risk managers. So what they do is they put in their long orders at VWAP or just below, because then for their manager, they can say, yeah, we have an average fill better than other people today. Because inherently, if you have a long position that is below 949, that means you are better off than the other trading participants in the day, because that is the volume weighted average price. That is where the average transaction has taken place at. So if you are long below it, technically you're better than the cohort. If you're short above it, technically you're better than the cohort. Now, obviously that doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually trading in your favor, but it's just like, it's a way to measure where your fill is relative to the other players. And I'm a little bit talking through like the world of professional trading, that they're going to be judged on, did they get their fills below VWAP? So that's commonly why we see VWAP becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, is because so many people are paying attention to it that they intentionally trade at that level. And then that becomes pivot points because so many people are paying attention to it. And then because it is a pivot point, then more people pay attention to it in the future. And then thus you have the self-fulfilling prophecy. Looks like we're not exactly tagging it today. We're within 7 points, which is going to be close enough. And we just got that huge pop. Jesus. Is it real or is it a fake out? That's interesting. That was a big pop. We went from 57 to 95 in 45 seconds. That took less than 1 minute. Folks, we have some vol today. You got to be careful. I highly recommend getting your stops in at break even as soon as you can, more so than normal, because literally we just moved 40 points in 45 seconds. Every single second we went up 1 point on average. We're moving a lot. We are cutting through these levels like it is nothing. So please be careful. Focus on your risk management, which you should always be doing, but I would argue today more so than normal. Here's a look at options flow, the thing that's been, dude, I'm not seeing it catch a bid yet. Same thing with the SPY. It did catch a flow alert right there, though, which I do perceive to be interesting. All right, we are dipping into the transition zone. Where did we get knocked? Exactly where I told you the first resistance was. Go back to the start of the show, and you can watch me say my first resistance is 85 to 86. We got there, smacked, real smack coming off. Literally called that level out perfectly to y'all. Right now, unfortunately, unless things have changed, the next support I see is 50. Unfortunately, I don't see much catching it until we get to this positive gamma area. So I'm just not seeing people structuring themselves at 60, 65. The next one I'm seeing is the psychological level and clearly the options level right here. A little bit of positive gamma at 50, 55. So as much as it pains me to say, because my bias is bullish, I could see this dropping 20 points, which would be $2 in the SPY, without much of a problem. Now, am I going to be attempting to take that trade? No, because it's anti-trend. The 30-minute hasn't broken down. The 10 minutes testing right now. The 4 hours bullish. 5-minute hasn't broken. 10-minute hasn't broken. 30-minute hasn't broken. 4-hour hasn't broken. So I'm letting you know that this is very possible just because I'm not seeing much in the way of it stopping, but I am not taking the trend because it still goes against my other core rules of I want to trade with trend. And right now the trend is bullish, 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 bullish. The trend is testing, bullish, bullish. So right now across the 8 timeframes that I care about, I'm seeing a mixture of neutral to bullish. So I have no real reason to be going against it. If anything, I should have been buying it at VWAP right here at 50, and I would already be up 20 points. I had my head up my ass, and I wasn't paying attention. But that was the play I should have been doing. I don't know. Fuck. I should have been in right here somewhere between 50 and 55 was a good entry. And my stop would already be at break even. It would be a freebie trade. I kind of missed out on that. Literally the play that I was pitching to you guys, a VWAP bounce, and now my head was so far up my ass that I missed it. Fuck. That was stupid. Oh, stupid. Stupid is as stupid does.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay.
Order submitted.
Okay.
Order submitted.
We're going to see if we can collect this break of 26,000. If not, I'm using this recent. It might double test VWAP. I don't know. I'm playing this cloud recapture on the 1 minute, actually. Right here, you could see it best. Is this the 1 minute? Is this the 1 minute? Right here. We just got back above the cloud. That was kind of my reasoning for getting in. And if it goes back below the cloud, that tells me that I'm wrong and to get the fuck out. And I'm about to get clocked right now.
Filled.
Yep, it happens. All right, I took a stab at it. It just got clearly fucking smacked. Might just be retesting VWAP. I figured it was worth a stab at it, but not like it wasn't the highest confidence play, which is why I did one contract instead of two. I was just playing the potential reversal. The reversal obviously didn't come. It might bounce right back up in my favor. Ah, fuck, it's about to now too. But I just didn't want to give it more risk because it could just vomit through VWAP. So that's how much risk I was willing it to get. I stuck to my system. It was a valid signal. I'm trading with the medium-term momentum. I don't mind it at all. Let me double check what the fuck's going on over here. Oh, was that the retest of it? Wow, dude, we're just slicing through it like it's kind of fucking nothing. That's crazy. Look at that. That pop just to get smacked. Oh, SPY has flattened out on that sell-off. Mag's having a little bit, but still kind of looking weak. Hang on. Yeah, fuck.
Order.
All right. Icarus fired
Order
again.
filled.
I'm trying again. Let me get my risk. Same thing as always. I never know how one individual trade is going to work. I decided to take that signal. I waited for the signal. 956. I waited for it, but we'll see how it pans out this time. 500 tick. 500 tick. I'm looking at a potential. We touch VWAP there. We touch VWAP there. I saw some strength coming in. It's just every time I'm seeing strength, it's getting smacked so fucking quickly. Come on. Let's see. 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 Nope. Every time another signal that's just getting its ass handed to it. Another one. Well, we'll see if VWAP holds. We keep pressing on VWAP kind of aggressively, I might add. VWAP is this white dash line over here. Let's see. Let's see. Interesting. Some buyers stepping in a little bit. Looks like we have a bit of resistance between 80 and 87. Some sellers at 80, point of control at 87. VWAP is at 50, 51, which we are literally pressing on right now. The trade is actually relatively simple. I saw Icarus fire after the structural bounce off of VWAP. I try to take advantage of it twice now. This is the second attempt, and they're valid trades. You just don't know what's going to come next, because what comes next is decided by other traders. Are other traders going to step in at VWAP? We're about to find out. Are sellers going to step in at VWAP? We're about to find out. I have to admit, the fact that we're testing it so much without more buyers stepping in is freaking me out a little bit. It is freaking me out a little bit. That's still bullish though. So I am trading with trend. I'm praying that some random support is getting created at 68 here. We're praying. We're praying. NQ. 50% retracement is at 45, which we did tag. Interesting. Yeah, we're going to find out. Are we making a triple bottom, or is it actually going to puke? You don't know. I would say that I have about a 50-50 shot. So the name of the game is risk management. That's the name of the game. It's not prediction. The one thing that I don't like, well, obviously all roads lead back to price action because that's where you're either going to make or lose money. But the one thing that's freaking me out right now is the SPY delta movement is starting to improve, but the Mag 7 still isn't. And I'm a bit confused about the whole thing because I see Google still ripping. Tesla's fine. Microsoft is basing here. We're at VWAP again. A little double top, little double test of VWAP. Fuck. Let me drill in 58. Oh, I'm on the wrong chart. Well, some buyers stepped in that time. Some buyers stepped in that time. Oh, interesting. What the fuck are they doing today?
Order submitted.
Nope. Smacked.
Order canceled.
How many times are we look at it's just riding this all the way fucking down? Probably should have got out of this one a bit earlier than I did. We're just we're VWAP dancing, folks. Which way is it? It's just past 10 now. I was kind of praying on that 10 a.m. reversal. What are we doing? Whoa. Whoa. All right, now I guess we did get that flush.
Order filled.
What the fuck was that? Oh, one of my stops. I always forget that I have those fucking accounts, those FFNs. Now we are this level, 900 flat is what I'm looking at. And I kind of fucking hate my positions at this point. I should have cut them all. I cut portions, but I don't like that. Mag 7 just got another dump. And actually in real time, we're seeing another one. Wow. So support is at like 890 is another technical support. We're at 900 right now. So there's potentially another 900 points there. Wow. Matt, look at this Mag 7 flow just getting unloaded. Now so is the SPY after. I thought this flow alert maybe at 950 could have saved things, but apparently not. Apparently the answer to that is a no-go. Oh, brother. Wow. So that puked. That puked. We did hit 57.
Order filled.
I just tried to get it fill at 20 and it gave it to me at 29. Fuck. Well, that's fun. Remember, VWAP is 50. Wow, what I got a 10-point slippage fill because I wanted a market order when I should have been using a limit order. All right, I dropped my average to VWAP, and maybe I'll dump one on that retest just to once again lower my average. Wow, what was looking good, a base that I was expecting that bounce, thus far has turned into not such fun. Not such fun. Was that the flush, though? I mean, we have seen multiple times where they'll flush it and then move it. Like, I guess my point is anything is theoretically in the cards here. Anything is theoretically in the cards. All right, I need to pay close attention because I think Icarus is going to fire again on this. Oh, all right, we're back up to VWAP. Here's a look at it. You can see sellers are stacking up at 64. VWAP is 50, technically 49. What in the fuck are we doing? So we were holding out above VWAP, bouncing, 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 finally cracked, puked to the tune of 50, 55 points. Then we ran all the way back up to VWAP. This is just telling me the market has no fucking clue what it wants to do today. And really, we just keep pivoting around VWAP. So really, what we're attempting to do is find out what the real trend is going to be from VWAP, either north or south.
Order filled. Order submitted.
All right, I'm just improving my risk management here. What level is that? 60. Please tell me, what is this? Fuck, what is it? 63, 64.
Order
All
submitted.
right. I'm watching this level, obviously. I see these people at 20. What are we doing? What in the world are we doing, folks? Oh, some buyers are stepping. I'm watching this right here. VWAP is at 50. Sellers are at 63, but we are obviously trending down. All right. A little sellers at 55 if you're watching NQ. But just, I don't know. You can see right here. This white line, once again, we run up to VWAP, smacked, and it was support this morning. It cracked. Now it's acting as resistance. This is just the pivot point of the day. I mean, if I had a crystal ball and can tell you which way we're going to trend from here, I would. But this is the game of trading. You identify the key levels. You wait to see either what the reaction either is or isn't, and you play it accordingly, ideally with minimal risk. Which way are we going? Oh, I don't think I'm the biggest fan. Oh. All right. I would love this back above 38. I'm seeing some buyers here at 20. I would love a bounce and a hold above 38. And then I would be looking for a retest of VWAP from that moment. But right now the trend is opposite of that. So basically I'm saying, hey, we want a higher low here. Or if not, we might be getting goosed. We might be getting goosed. Do I even see? I'm not really seeing anyone step in right now. Oh, apparently market sellers are stepping in. On my smaller accounts, I'm trying to do the mental math of the MAE here, and I don't know if I'm fucking it up or not. All right. Some buyers are at 900, 902. Obviously, they're focusing on that psychological level. Up. A little burst of buying that was quickly faded. Quickly faded. All right. Just to give you so yeah, we did get a nice pop. Since then, lower highs, lower lows. 1 minute trend is bearish. SPY was decent until 942. Delta getting clocked since then. Mag 7 is starting to bottom, which is giving me the smallest modicum of hope of maybe prices bottoming, because I'm seeing that the options market has stopped selling all those calls, and at least they've gone flat. Of course, it could bounce at any moment. That's completely allowed, but I'm just letting you know, relative to the extreme sell-off that we've seen all day, like selling, it's at least changed structure now. The delta flow has gone flat. So let's see what, maybe it means something for price, maybe it doesn't. That's what I'm doing my best to try to clock over here, and I'm just getting fucked up. All right, what is that low? The intraday low is seemingly 92, 93. 92, 93. All right. It's pressing. We're right here at 58. Maybe a double bottom, or maybe it does crack it and we go to 50. Those are what I see as the two viable ones, like this W formation. So I'd be kind of excited if it can take out like 60, 63, something like that on SPX, and on NQ. It's a similar, like, just structural setup. I'm looking for the takeout of 21 at this point. I'd feel excited about 57, which, surprise, surprise, is VWAP. 21, though, could get the game kind of going in the other way, looking at Bookmap here. Unfortunately, this market has been, hang on, alert here, not price, but look at Mag 7 starting to trend up a bit. We might be seeing the start of the changing of tides here. Price is not showing it at all, and who knows, maybe this is just like a fluke in options movement. But I do want to point out that ever since 10:03, the turn of the hour, we are seeing a slight change. A slight change. That apparently, nope, just got horrendously smacked. We got a spike up to 22 and smack down 15 points like it was nothing. Like literally like it was nothing. Jesus. All right. So that we spiked up to 24.75. So that's the new reversal level that I'd be interested in. Can we take that out? Because other than that, we're consecutively making lower highs and lower lows. So it doesn't really get exciting for a potential reversal unless we could take out that high, because you need a new high for higher highs, obviously. And it is just not looking good. Dude, this just, wow, a lot of sellers at 930. All right, this is now becoming the level of interest. 25,930. That's not a little, that's 508 contracts. That is big boy size. That is serious fucking size. Holy shit. Oh, and then they disappeared. They were there for 1 minute. I wonder if they ended up marketing order out right here. That's crazy. They were there for a second from this block to this block, but they've now pulled the order. Once again, keep that in mind. Maybe it's going to become important if we end up ever reversing. But once again, keep in mind 930. That was 500 contracts. 500 contracts. Good morning. Can you please check the flow on Google? Thanks for all you do, and good luck with today's scalps. Yeah, we'll throw up Google really quick. See what's going on there. SPY still trending down. Mag 7, I'm paying attention to the flattening. It does seem a little bit changed. Google specifically popped, now flat, but obviously overall strong. It did hit new all-time highs today. Wow, this 5 minute is getting fucked up. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Order filled. Order canceled.
All right. On my smaller accounts, I dumped one of the contracts just because I can't withstand that much of a pullback. I think it's getting into the realm of like the MAE or something. So I was forced to dump one, locked in a realized loss. Just because I have to care about the MAE. The MAE. But I'm now at the point of thinking, well, hang on. This could, it can take out 61, but I'm seeing this support at 50. Uh-oh, I kind of wish I was in no position at this moment in time. I kind of wish I was in no position. Look at that. Just bleed. 940 hit, especially in the S&P 500, maybe partly because of Microsoft here. Bleeding. But look at that. Just 940 hits. Blech. All right. The question is, are we going to get one of those Nike swoosh recoveries, or is this actually a day that price gets fucked up? 5 minute. Okay, so on 10 minute. So 25 is becoming very important for the NQ contract, for the NASDAQ, for QQQ, for whatever you're watching. The 10-minute bar that we're building right now that ends in the next 3 minutes, that is seemingly pretty fucking important, that high, because it happens to also be that 50 EMA, and this also happens to be that 30-minute test right here. So I care a lot about this 10-minute bar. A lot about it, or obviously the one green 5 minute bar. Let's see. Oh man, that VWAP short instead of recovery ended up being a kind of phenomenal play. The breakdown was at 20, it's at 90, you're up 30 points. That was probably what I should have done, but maybe I'm just a little bit, I don't know. I don't like that I'm handling 3 different sets of accounts. I feel like my brain is getting pulled in different directions of the management for the 3 sets, the big Apex, the medium Apex, and the small FFN. My brain is like all over the place on how to manage them. And I'm noticing in real time that it's making my rapid decision making not the highest of quality. Not at all the highest of quality. But hey, it is what it is. 84, 83. All right, what the fuck is going on today, folks? I'm a little bit nervous of this. The 5 minute is south, 10 minutes south. Technically, the bar hasn't closed. 30 minute is right there as well. Not the biggest fan of that, but I'm waiting. I'm attempting to wait. Jesus, we keep just getting fucking hit here. I'm attempting to wait to see how this bar actually goes. S&P 500 is showing weakness, but we're coming up to this level. So I'm trying to be mindful of like the not so crazy notion that we could bounce off of that. the not so fucking crazy notion that this could be a dip by region. Oh. Watching this closely. Back to the flow. Mag 7. This is why things dumped right there. Someone nailed the delta right at 10:15. And then the SPY got hit pretty heavily as well. SPY got hit pretty heavily as well. Well, let me change this. I just want to know if there's going to be a little short-term reversal, because maybe I'll try to improve my positions. It's a big maybe, though. Oh, okay. Watching this, Mag 7, SPY. At a certain point, how much can we bleed off? I mean, in reality, what we're doing is we're just chopping through all this negative gamma, and we're finally running into positive gamma right now. But like, why was the sell-off, quote unquote, so easy? Well, remember, negative gamma is slippery price action. Like, whichever way you're trending, the market makers support it. So that's why the sell-off happened without much of like a look back, is because this is really the first time in the day that we're running into positive gamma. And what did we just do? Yeah, we're not seeing this recovery quite yet. Dude, it just, yeah, I wonder if this is going to be the place that people step in. I wonder if that's going to be the place. All right, we're tagging it. That's that tag of 50. And we're finally seeing positive gamma. Spot gamma implied one-day move low is 69.40. I have no idea if we will bounce here, but maybe there's something a little bit more interesting than normal to pay attention to. But, dude, it's just getting fucking rocked no matter where you look. We just sliced. Wow. Where was that alert? S&P 500 still going down. Mag 7 still getting clocked there. Oh, brother. I'm watching it as closely as I can, folks, because I need to somehow improve my positions. Somehow. Your boy needs to pull a magic rabbit out of his hat today. Let's see. Watching this zone very closely on the S&P 500. I'm paying attention to flow as closely as I possibly can. What about bookmap? Are we seeing? Okay, I see it chopped through selling. It popped up, kind of undershot this resistance at 75. I see these people at 50 now. Damn. It's just, yeah, we're devoid of aggressive buying. It's just every time there's a little bit of a pump. I mean, I'm drilled into like the 1 minute hair. Every time there's a little bit of a pump, it's just getting fucking smashed. Just like that. There are some sellers today, folks. Okay, maybe some buyers right there. What happened to the S&P 500 on that? Oh my God, look at this. On the 5 minute chart, it's nothing but red. Google just got hit. Microsoft's getting hit. All right, we officially are at that 50 level. And it does not seem to be liking it. I'm not saying it's for the faint of heart, but this is an actual viable reversal trade where you come to a key level, you bounce off of it on any reversal, you take that long position because we're selling off, and your risk is just the recent low. So the point is to minimize risk. Are you right? Are you wrong? Your guess is as good as mine. But from a risk reward perspective, obviously, if you could ride it all the way back up, that's a lot of reward, and the risk is minimal. So you probably only need to be right, like especially on days like this, like 1 in 5 of them to be net profitable. You don't have to be right that often. I'm trying to get some sort of reading of understanding where the buyers are today, and they are just, this has been a sell, sell, sell type of a situation. A sell, sell, sell. Holy shit. Yeah, like right there. Every little pop is just faded. And like you can not only see it in the S&P 500, but right here, every pop, boom, smacked. I mean, at a certain point, you have to run, like these sellers have to run out of capital. There's a finite amount of money, dude. Patience. Patience, patience, patience. You should really only be executing those trades if you're seeing what you actually need to be seeing, rather than saying, hey, I've been here for 10 minutes. Like, I need to trade now. Just wait. Just wait. Maybe it bounces. Maybe it turns into a full-on capitulation. No one knows. Taking out these guys at 40. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, watching these. Maybe this would be the first time we actually see some buying today. Does Meta have news? No, I think Microsoft had news. Something with like data centers and offsetting energy costs. All right, so these people who were trying to sell at 41 just dropped it to 30, and they're not even getting a fill. Holy shit. I'm trying to like do some quick mental math on the MAE for these fucking accounts, for the smaller accounts, and it's becoming a huge pain in the ass, honestly. Take out 30, which is like the lowered value. I can't believe it's gone like this. Like such perfect systematic selling. Boom, boom, boom. Like this is some big algo, some big money, like repositioning, heading in either to VIX expiration tomorrow, Supreme Court decision tomorrow, reacting to CPI. Most likely the answer is a mixture of all of it, of like, quote unquote, why is this happening? Yeah, a mixture of all of it. And as to why they're doing what they're doing, doesn't really matter. What matters is that they're doing it. Like we're here to try to better understand like the risk and the reward of certain setups that are being presented to us. It's not really our job to understand why they're being presented to us. this is just like such a systematic puke. And when I say systematic, it's some big algo like changing their positions. Like this is just, it's so perfectly linear that it's just, maybe that's a bit of a bottom. I do have this alert set up. Maybe. Holy shit, that's degenerate though.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, I have pending orders. I'm updating
Order
my
filled.
risk. All right, just gotta fill. Just gotta fill. We're gonna fucking see how this plays out. Yep. Once again, any little pop, it's met with selling. This particular one might be a little bit different. I'm seeing SPX maybe react to 950. I'm seeing a bit of a potential change here in the S&P 500 flow. So if you're choosing to take it, and I'm not telling anyone to, if you do it, you have well-defined risk. You're either risking the breakout bar at 48 or you're risking the swing low at 45. On a reasonable movement, I would call a reasonable movement a recapture of 56 right here, this high at 1020. You move your stop to break even. Will this be the bottom? I have no clue. But from a risk-reward perspective, that's minimal risk to maybe a reload all the way up to 980. Folks, it's just a game of risk-reward. Like, that's all it is. That is all it is. And I'm kind of noting that I see some buying come in on the SPY, so maybe that horrific amount of selling is officially over. The Mag 7's not reacting that much. The SPY's reacting a bit better. It definitely is reacting a bit better, so kind of watching that. Things might get a bit exciting, maybe up here at 56. Yeah, the Qs are going sideways. They're still, the Nasdaq's struggling a little bit here. Didn't get that follow through the way the S&P 500 did. And in fact, it's like now getting sold shit.
Order submitted.
All right, just updating my risk. Order submitted. Order submitted. I'm playing a fucking dangerous game today. A dangerous game today, folks. Come on. Where's Bookmap at 850? A recapture of 850 might be nice. Oh, there we go. A little bit of life. Little bit of life, but I'm still hesitant because every single time we've seen a little pop, it gets quickly faded. There's some sort of algorithm that's been running seemingly for the past 45 minutes of any pop sell into it, any pop sell into it. I assume it's some sort of giant positional roll with VIX and Supreme Court tomorrow, OPEX Friday. It feels like it's just a big like rolling of a position. But is it over is kind of what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to really understand. Is it over? Because like, and why there's potential for it being over is right here. Yeah, we sold.
Order filled.
Finally, there's a bit of life in the S&P 500. Finally. And then also, like I said, I called this trade out before it happened. I said the breakout's here at 1029. Your risk is here at this point. Like rewind it if you don't believe me. I said this. I said as soon as it takes out 56, move your stop to break even. Your stop's now at you're risking nothing. You're in at 59.50 or 59 or excuse me 49 or 50. Your stop's at break even. You might get to roll this whole thing. Like this isn't Monday morning quarterbacking. I literally called this out in real time. Actually, prior to real time. I said, let's look for this reversal, the 1 minute. I said, you could risk this breakout bar, the low. We called it out right here, somewhere between 49 and 50 when you're in. Your stop's at break even. You're risking nothing. It's a freebie play. If we recover, you make a shitload of money. If it comes back and knocks you out, no sweat off your back. It didn't cost you any money because you're out for break even. It's truly that simple. Are you trying to catch this knife, my friend? Yeah. And it's improving, but the situation is fucking brutal at the moment. I need a pretty... Fuck, dude. Every single time this gets a bit of a bid, dude, it's just getting rocked. Come on, you could do it, Tonto. I'm just looking at this, like, look at a pop. Wow, this is the first time it holds. Second pop, nope, smacked. Look at it, just hit the bid, hit the bid, hit the bid, hit the bid. Remember, the red circles are aggressive selling and the green circles are aggressive buying, defined by who is traversing the spread. Who is the aggressor? If the buyer is traversing the spread and fulfilling the order on the ask, that is aggressive buying. If the seller is traversing the spread and fulfilling the order on the sell, that's aggressive selling. So the red dots are aggressive selling. The green dots are aggressive buying. So like the thing that's kind of blowing my mind today is every little patch of aggressive buying that we've seen since like 9:45. Look at a little bit sold, a little bit sold, a little bit sold, a little bit sold. Like every single time we see a little bit of it, it's just getting its fucking face smashed in. And I'm just wondering if finally the sell program is over. My accounts, I'm long right now. I'm playing this game of catching the falling knife. I'm hoping it works. Why was I leaning bullish? I guess because I came into the day with a bias bullish, understanding that my interpretation with the CPI report was also bullish. I'm not saying necessarily that's good because it got me into this situation and I'm betting on a full-fledged recovery, which necessarily isn't the best thing. I probably should have been out of this position, held nothing, and waited for this moment. But regardless, I am where I am.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, just management update. Just moving my risk around now that it's gone a little bit in my favor. I am, for those of you curious about what I'm targeting right now, right here, 25,900. I'm looking for at least a little bit of a breakout, a 9-point breakout from this 1 minute. Fuck me. Just like this is what I'm saying. Every time we're seeing a little bit of life. Nope. Nope. Look at that. It like, I could even, here, let's, just to prove a point, look at 10 seconds. Grind up, grind up, grind up, grind up, smashed. Just every little grind up. It's not, wow. We were just at 75 and now we're at 45. We just dropped how many of her points? Like it was literally fucking nothing. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right. Let's see what the flow is doing. Mag 7's going flat. Weird spike and drop. SPYs, it's attempting to climb. It's right here. It's attempting to climb. The tides are, they're changing a little bit. Not as much as I would like them to be, but they're trying to change. Let's just see. The first real test here is, can the SPX get above and hold above and kind of reverse this cloud? Because the cloud got smashed at 9:43 and we've been below it this entire time. So if you're looking at the 1 minute, by definition, that is bearish. I would like to see this spike right here. I want to see us take that out at 62. Remember, if you took this reversal, good risk management would be putting your stop at break even. If you try to catch that falling knife, not necessarily saying it's a good or a bad strategy, but I'm just saying whatever you decide to do, you need to do it with reasonable risk management. dude, it's just getting fucking sliced no matter what we do. No matter what we do. Sliceola. All right. So anyway, to me, I like the shot at the recovery down here at 1029. I would say at this point, confirmation is getting above and holding above 62, and then kind of bonus points if we get above 66, this recent high that we had at 1005. Looking at NQ, it's actually looking worse off on a relative basis. We're right at the bottom of the overnight low, and we overshot it, popped above it, seemingly not honoring it at this moment, but we'll see. Things are going to be better above 81. I'd kind of actually be saying, oh, okay, maybe like a real shot of a VWAP reversal, retest, whatnot at 915. But once again, we're not even seeing that yet, but that's what I would be looking for. Other than that, the trend's down. So I'm just kind of pointing out where might be interesting signs of a trend reversal. And the trend has been same thing, 940, whatever that hit. Those sell algos turned on, and I do think they're off now, just because like a little bit of the structure of the delta and the price action has actually changed, but that doesn't mean that other traders aren't reacting to how much the market's gotten its fucking teeth kicked in today, since open at least. 54, a recovery of 54. Okay, maybe. Yeah, for whatever reason, the SPY's actually doing better than the NASDAQ right now. The NASDAQ is kind of looking like shit. But it's only 10:40. We're an hour and 10 minutes into the day. There's a lot of time left. The question is this going to be a V-shaped reversal? Sell, 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 buy, 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 buy? Or is this a little bit of a dead cat bounce and we turn over and we get fucked? Microsoft is part of the problem today, no matter how you slice it up. What is it, the third or the fourth biggest company? It's definitely a top five. Is not looking bueno. Not looking bueno. Looking at the 5-minute, I would love the Qs to get above 625, 62. Would love that for my current positions, but it is not looking likely at this moment in time. Definitely leaving a little bit to be desired. Momentum, 5 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish. 30-minute is first bar potentially going bearish. NASDAQ, 5-minute bearish, 10-minute bearish, 30-minute, same thing. So 5 and 10, the shortest time frame, because we've been selling off for an hour, hour and a half now, is obviously bearish. But the medium time frames, 4 hours still bullish in both. 30-minute is questioning. 30-minute is questioning. Wow, fuck me. Where the fuck am I at with this MAE shit? Not looking good for me. I'm not seeing those signs I need. I saw some signs of flattening. I saw some signs of a pop and flattening, but what's the next move? What in the fuck is the next move? Emergency alert from Trump live now. Is that true? Or are you guys just making something up? Are you just pulling my chain? Oh, brother. I am not a fan of this dog shit. Dude, this game of catching a fallen knife has not been ideal. Once again, if you try to do it on the S&P 500, it's still working because you're in between 49 and 51. We have not retested it. Good risk management has your stop at break even. We haven't retested it. You're technically in the green, and the worst case scenario is obviously break even. So I guess I'm complaining about catching the falling knife on the NASDAQ because that one's in the sketchy zone right now. But had you tried to do it on the S&P 500, you're good. Your stop's at break even, or at least if you're using extreme risk management, it should be at break even. Oh, fuck. Fuck. All right, I needed this above 850. I'm still, ooh, that's not looking good. I want 850. I guess technically 46. This is the overnight trading session low, this like white line right here, 846. I want us to get above it. I would like to see this higher low, and I would specifically not want to see this trend line break down. You could watch a little bit of that structure, I suppose. Maybe a higher low, but it's pressing lower. Like the momentum, you can feel it. You can feel it. A push of 45.50 might change sentiment a little bit. Obviously, trend line breakout could be exciting, but a full-on recovery really kind of gets triggered on taking out, or I would say the sentiment could improve, and we see a self-fulfilling prophecy by getting above and closing above, specifically 81. But things are finally slowing down. Mag 7 still not looking the best. SPY popped. It's kind of holding. I suppose a little bleed off, but look at prices just holding flat. I want to look for this 50 EMA retest again. The 1 minute 50 EMA. 59. Gets exciting above 62. Okay, NQ is right where we were talking. Is it going to get smacked here or hold it? Tough time thus far, to be honest. We keep coming right up to it, and the market says, nah, says, go fuck yourself, bulls. It says, go fuck yourself, bulls. We just hit 50. We're trying to get back up into this zone. Trying.
Order submitted. Order filled.
I threw in another one just in case this is a higher low reversal. Obviously, I'm going to be mindful of a potential rejection up here. So if we start to see 65, I'll probably move my stop on that entry to break even just to make it a riskless trade. We'll see. We'll see. All right, we're going to set some alerts so I don't miss any of the craziness. S&P 500, potential higher low. S&P 500 on a relative basis in the recent 1 minute time frame, it is stronger than the NASDAQ. The S&P 500 is basically already attempting to maybe switch the shortest term trend from bearish to bullish. We're testing that now. I don't know who's going to win this test, but I'm just pointing out the fact that we're testing while the NASDAQ has distance to go. Like it clearly has to get going. Fuck, dude. Smacked, like, literally every fucking time, dude. Every time. there's just, as of now, there's no buyers interested in this dog shit. And honestly, at this point, given this price action, I don't know if I could blame them.
Order canceled. Order filled.
I don't know if I could blame them. All right, we're back to this game of watching that low and oops. And that high. Yeah, S&P 500, second rejection right there. Son of a bitch, dude. Son of a bitch. All right. Ooh, I am on the wrong side. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Fuck, dude. I'm just not doing well today. I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm trading like an asshole. I'm trading like a grade A asshole. I don't know why. Like, what's going on in my subconscious that I'm just not sticking to my plans and doing exactly what I should be doing. Oh, fuck me. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing so wrong? Like, I just need to get in the zone. I'm not in the flow state. I'm just, and this is like, of course, like you could sometimes just get lucky by trading like an asshole, but like still like things are in your favor. I'm not executing as well as I should. I don't know if it's like brain fog or if it's just like unwillingness to admit that I'm wrong. Like I just don't think I'm seeing this as clearly as I should. I don't think I'm seeing it as clearly, or not even not seeing it clearly. I feel like I'm making good call outs. Maybe I'm not being as good with my stop management as I need to be. Like something's off. I don't think I'm fully tilted, at least not yet. You never know how that's going to fucking go. But we'll see. We'll see. Just admit it, Matt, we were wrong. I don't necessarily see that because what I see are signs of an algorithm selling and it stopped at 10:30. I see signs of an algorithm selling and it stopped at 10:30. And now I'm wondering if the algorithm sold it so low that people are now willing to buy. I mean, and you don't know. So not only are we seeing the signs of like a big player like rolling a position or changing a position in one way or the other, I see support at a key technical level, psychological level of 950. It's not wrong. Like this could be the reversal. It's just I was maybe way too early to it, and it's okay to be early. You just, once again, still have to get out when it's appropriate. And it's that final little step that if I were to give myself a report card on the day, I don't think I've been doing that portion of it well. The payout got you risking the biscuit? Maybe. I'll tell you that it definitely has me doing something fucking stupid. But I guess the first part to realizing that you have a problem is noticing the problem, and then you're making some steps to fix it. And that's where I'm at right now. We're making some steps to... I also think, and I already alluded to this a little bit earlier today, I think my mind got a little bit wonky with the crazy price action, but also trying to manage my three groupings of accounts separately. The big PAs, for Apex, the medium PAs for Apex, and also my small FFNs. My mind, I think, was not the best at like running to compute the risk of where all three should be at. And I was trying to trade them as three independent groups. And I think it just all got pretty like funky. But we'll see. I'm wondering if this is a double bottom reversal, a higher low here on the SPY. I'm seeing the Mag 7 flatten out. I'm seeing the SPY flatten out. I'm seeing a second test. Oh, fuck. Is that just a straight up rejection? I'd prefer that this just keeps going higher. All right, come on. Come on. NQ's making some form of move. Making some form of move. Come on. All right, this is a big test. I don't know who wins. I don't know who loses. I'm just saying we got to be paying the fuck attention. I'm seeing some breakouts. Fuck, you guys are not seeing the right. Here you guys go. Can you see me now? All right. We're almost back to break even here. At least on the play. Realize it's another 500, which would actually mean break even is 94. 94. Here's the 1 minute. So, 94 is break even on the account. We're almost at break even. 94 is break even on the account. 27. We're seeing finally some buying coming in. I want to see this test of 900. I'm not being completely fucking stupid. Obviously, I'm dropping some of these.
Order submitted.
Don't want to carry this much size. No, how did that not get a fill? No way.
Order filled.
There we go. All right. We're climbing out of this stupid fucking hole. Slowly but surely. Come on. What is that? 9:15. Let's do 9:14. Okay, what did I say? 90. Well, at this point, I made a little profit. So my break even on the accounts on the day, obviously the trade itself is up 3,000, but my break even on the accounts is somewhere right here. I'm pretty much at break even right now. And I'm trying to figure out how I really want to do this one. Basically, it might dip all the way to 76. That's not insane. What about this one? That's 927. That's also not the most insane thing either. Oh, I think I need to be creative, and my brain's already kind of fried on the day of how I've been doing this. I'm wondering in hindsight if I should have dumped them all at 900, counted my lucky stars, and moved on with my life today. But the other side of it, like sometimes that feels like such a woulda, coulda, shoulda type of argument, because all day I've been like, okay, we might reverse. Well, guess what we're finally seeing? The 1 minute is trying to go bullish. We did take out a recent high. Obviously, things get a little bit more exciting above, like, I don't know, 925, 915, something like that. Here, I'll set this alert. We did get this little trend line breakout right there. You just don't know if trends are going to go or not go. You could argue it's a double bottom. Oh, I'm watching this. I'm watching this. I mean, it's just a shame that I chose to execute this on NQ instead of ES, because ES worked out perfectly. I called it here at 10:29. That's your entry. Here's your risk on this pump at 10:33. So you had 4 minutes of risk. Your stop's at break even. Your stop was never tested, and now it's breaking out. Like, it just ended up working better on the S&P 500 than the NASDAQ. But I guess Mag 7 is finally improving. S&P 500 is finally improving. What's VWAP? VWAP is 21, it looks like. 21. I'm front running it by 7 points. That's not, I don't mind that. That's a decent front run. I don't think many other people are front running it to that degree. But it just keeps getting shot down at 90 here. I see people at 910, but I see buyers at 86. Oh, brother. I just need this new trend to hold. New trend to hold. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Where was that halfway point? 27. So VWAP is at 22. The halfway recovery is at 27. And then we see some important technical levels at 24. So that's going to be a clear area to break. Basically scattered between 20 and 30. 920 to 930. That is a very important area to watch. A very important area to watch. That's why I'm getting out of one early. I was long 5. I dumped 2 at 900 because it's a key level. I'm front running another one. I'm front running that 20 to 30 region. And I might dump one in that 20 to 30 region and then just leave on one runner. That might be the game plan.
Order submitted.
But I'm seeing some issues here getting above 900. Come on. At least fill one of these. I just want to do proper risk management at this point. Come on. Get going. Get going. Get going. 901, 900. $905. We just keep curling up. I just want to get out. Let me out. Some people are here at 908. Those trays at 910 seemingly disappeared. Will it go? Will it go? Will it not go? Will it go? Will it not go? Fuck. All right. Yeah. We're just seeing people react to 900 flat. How are the orders hitting? Oh, patience. Come on. You can do it. We're cheering for 900. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm seeing people step in at seemingly 908. Strange level, but hey, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. The Mag 7 Delta Flow is still improving. We saw that bottom at 1030. It took a while, but fast forward 20 minutes, that's when it kind of stopped there, and then we saw that pop. S&P 500, same thing. It bottomed at 1028, so we'll call it 1030. Higher low at 1050, same thing. So basically, we had a pretty hardcore sell-off from 945 to 1030. It seems as if a bot program was either unwinding or rolling or doing something for 45 minutes straight. I mean, and also the fact that it's so perfectly aligned with like human times, 9:45 to 10:30. And then the market tried to step in and then really seemingly try to get going at 10:50. That seems to be the name of the game. I'm looking for the 5-minute on ES to break above 7,006. On NQ, I'm looking at 13, which is part of the reason why I actually have one trying to get out at 10:14. Hopefully that gets going soon. Come on. I see a lot going on between this level, and I hope it breaks out and fully recovers, but I just need to be mindful of my position and the fact that I'm kind of playing for my heels today, that I just need to slowly but surely scale out of this. Slowly but surely scale out of this, and if these two get hit, 14 and 25 are my sitting pending sell orders. The other one, I'll set the stop to, I guess, break even on the account on the day, and hey, if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it knocks me out. Whatever, I survived. But it has not been a good trading day for me. I feel like my analysis has been spot on. I feel like my risk management could have been vastly improved, and not necessarily from like where my risk was. I suppose from the point of when things weren't looking good this morning, I should have just gone flat and waited for the reversal and then played it heavy at the reversal rather than like withstanding the whole pain throughout it. So I feel like the call outs have been right, but it's just like, what was the point of holding that hot cold the entire time? But I do also want to point out NQ is really on the struggle bus here at 900. So I'm looking for that push. Patience. Looking at S&P 500, it's holding green now. I would say a technical breakout comes at 66. That would be a nice one. We could go to the 5-minute there. Gets even better above 69. LOL. Yeah, NQ needs to get above this. I mean, honestly, 910 to 930, the whole thing is resistance. There's like 20 points of like legitimate resistance here. So I'm trying to be mindful of that, and that's why I'm not like holding all 3 contracts through it. I'd rather scale out just in case there's a rejection. Of course, if it breaks and rips, yeah, I wish I held all the contracts all that way, but based on how my day's been going, that probably isn't the smartest play for your boy. Not the smartest. Come on. What did we hit? We hit 906. I mean, I just feel like I'll have a sigh of relief if we could even just get this next fill, dumping over half the position. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, mother, oh, brother. Oh, mother, oh, brother, oh, mother, oh, brother. Hang on, I was looking at the playlist at Tendies and Tunes to see what kind of music could get this going. I think that's what the market needs at this point. Fuck. It's just grinding now. We got this move to switch the momentum, and since then, not much follow through, which I find to be sad. Come on. Come on, Kohrs on the Cob. Lead us to the promised land. Yeah, VWAP's still there at 21. I find it hard to believe the market at this point doesn't want to retest it. I really do. I mean, we got within 20 points of it. A lot of people probably, like, I find it really difficult to not get within a couple points of that, which is why I think I'm being conservative and I'm front running it by 6 points here. Generally, when people front run it, it's by like a point. Come on. Let's go, you fucker. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Dude, it's just having the worst time, dude. It's just a mess of sellers in here. They're trying to defend 900. Break it. Take them out. Take them out. How many times can we knock on this door, folks? Go for it. Hold 900. I'm trying to watch the tape over here, which is why I have it abnormally big today. Just on the struggle bus. Mag 7 is going flat. SPY is going flat, tilted up. We're almost taking out that 66 breakout. All right, 910. Fuck. Up, smacked. Jesus, dude, Meta got goosed. I missed that completely. I need to get the fuck out of my Meta position. Damn, dude, every time we're just... Is it not Kohrs on the Cob that's going to save us? Is it a different one? Who do we... What variant is going to save us here? Will Fat Kohrs save us? Fat Kohrs. It just keeps getting so close. Oh, why do I have so many alerts on my phone? It's 11:11. Let's make a wish. They said be careful, I said define careful, I said define gravity while you're at it. Every headline reads like a dare, every thought I had just quietly packed his bags. Dude, this is getting to be some paint drying purgatory, folks. It just keeps going up. Say what you want, say I'm out of my mind. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. It just keeps going up. I try to doubt it, I really did, but it just... We went from so much movement to now absolute nothingness. Huge movement. And then it's like, you know what? Nah. That's what happens when the bots turn off, folks. Come on. Just quick God candle. Get me the fill, and then I can breathe easy. I'll manage the last position properly. And we'll see how the fuck this goes. We got to 1150 and my fill was at 14. Are you kidding me? I'm being tested, folks. My patience is being tested. My patience is being tested. Come on. 910. I saw 10. 910. 909. 910. Do I hear 911? Do I hear 912? Come on. 909. 909. 910. 910. 910. 910. 909. Dude, what are we doing here? I'm losing my fucking mind. Here's what's going to happen is I'm going to get so pissed off that I'm going to manually close this, and a millisecond after I manually close it, the market's going to fucking rip. That's like, it's destined. That's how this goes. Don't tilt, Matt. It's not worth it. Oh, I know it's not worth it. And I feel like I've actually done a pretty good recovery. I don't think I really got tilted today. I feel like I was kind of not trading well, and I recognized it. And rather than getting angry that I wasn't trading well, I just recognized it out loud and started doing what I should have done. So I kind of got myself out of that downtrend before it did anything fucking stupid. But dude, this is painful here.
Shiny suit, learn real fast what a margin call to do. Had a paycheck, a phone, and a Robin Hood dream. Thought I was Warren Buffett off a meme stock scheme. Lost my rent on a candle that faked me out. That's when adulthood punched me straight in the mouth. We were broke, cocky, drunk.
Come on. Dude. It's just testing me here. Come on. Come on. Make this the push. Make this the push. Go. Go, 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 go. Make this the push. How close can this get? Check options. Hey, fucking finally. One of them got filled. All right. Oh, we can breathe a little bit easier now. Hopefully this gives us that test to get the other one filled. When it happens, it all happens at once. All that waiting. Come on, get this other fill. Go, 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 go. I could breathe real easy on this fill. Go. Come on. We're right at VWAP. We're right at VWAP. Go. 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 We're right at VWAP. We hit 2250. Mine was at 25. Come on. I just need a little bit of an overshoot. And remember, I put it kind of awkwardly in this region because I recognize the area from 10 to 30 as kind of choppiness. So I put one at 14 and one at 25. I guess I could have put them both at 20. That would have worked, but I thought it would have been better for my psychology to get out of one a little bit earlier just to be able to breathe, hence that drop at 14. Obviously, based on this action, it would have been better to get them both out at 20, but whatever. But whatever. Come on. Oh, what was that? Fuck you. Fuck you. 24.50 and mine's at 25. Fuck you. Lame. Lame. That's lame. That's lame ass shit. That's so fucking lame. 24.50. Dude. That's some horse shit, dude. That's some grade A horse shit. Fuck you. Nah, dude. The only thing closer than that are cousins in Alabama. Jesus. Oh. Oh. We are stuck in this purgatory. Some baby back bullshit. It happens, folks. This is trading. Come on. I'm really... I'm kind of jumpy right now because this could be a rejection zone. So just if it starts to reject, I just want to close it all, call it a day, take whatever money I have and move on with my life.
So much money, I might buy a coastline. Rename the waves after deals I closed on time. I buy a country, just the shortest pride. Install a central bank.
Look at that. That high was 24.75 and we hit 24.50. So it didn't technically break the one green bar on NQ. Wow. That's a close one. That's a close one. Come on. Come on. Where are the big guys? All right, 9:15, and then they're back at VWAP at 9:20, and then after that, it's like this junk in here. All right, they're fighting the people at... Oh, it's harder to see it when it shows you... There we go. That's the pop I need. Oh, don't get faded. Shit. Ah, oh, there was a quick pop there that I thought would get it going. I thought it would kickstart the test of VWAP, but it did not do that. Instead, it got perfectly smacked at VWAP. Fuck. Oh, that gave me excitement. Come on. Here we go. All right, let's see if we can take out VWAP this time. Come on. 9:20. I know there's people there. They're disappearing a little bit. We're knocking on the door of VWAP right here. And then I see people trying to sell at 26, which is good for me because my order is at 25. So if we can take this out, I don't see much stopping it. Buyers are there at 14. Come on, take it out. Shit. It got smacked at VWAP again. Fuck. Someone just did a market order right there. That's a market order. We got right up to VWAP. They market ordered. It was about 75-ish contracts. They literally waited for the test of VWAP, market ordered out 75 contracts. And that dropped us 10 points momentarily. Right there. Right there. Boom. 11:21 in a couple seconds. 75 contracts market ordered. Let's see if we could retest it. All right. Almost back to VWAP. VWAP is this white dash line. Let's see if there's going to be another market order there. Hopefully not. Hopefully this time we actually break and then pop up to this 26 level because that would give me my fill on one of my 2 remaining contracts. Nope. Again, dude, they keep coming in. As we're sitting here, like, we could literally watch it in real time. They're just building it up. Come on, just... Oh, what it was that seller at 26 moved it down 6 points. And now we have some market orders hitting. Fuck. Not looking as good as I would like it to. I don't know, folks. I'm not liking the lack of follow through right at this level at resistance. In fact, the buyers are a bit weak right now. on Bookmap, the only one we're seeing making interesting moves are some of these sellers. And of course, it can change whenever. It's just decided in real time by actual buyers and sellers. I'm just not seeing shit happen. Come on. Let's take out these guys at 20 and pop to 28. Once again, the extent of this resistance, like a breakout in my book, would be a break and hold above 930. From there, it sets up a door to even go higher. Like, at that point, we might be talking 970, 980. I guess, yeah, 960, 970, 980. Fuck, dude.
Numbers. Say it's just how it is. Say nobody got hurt if you don't hear them scream. But when the lights die and the noise goes thin, tell me who the fuck
Yeah, we ran all the way up. I almost got my fill and then right down. Son of a bitch. All right, I'm hoping for a higher low here. It's still possible, but also what's possible is a complete reversal. And based on how I've done today, I need to be more mindful of the latter case. Just because I have not been doing what I need to be doing today. If I had to give myself a report card of today's trade, unlike yesterday where I was like A+, today I'm like a C. The only reason I'm not giving myself lower than a C is because my recovery was decent, but my initial execution was fucking horrible. Or I should say the initial risk management of the initial execution was horrible. I liked my initial trades. I had good reason to get in, and I would take that trade time and time again. It didn't go my way, which is sometimes what the market does. And the management, like the inability to refuse I was wrong, and it was fucked up, and that was wrong. And yeah, I could blame it on just like too many moving parts between the three groupings of accounts I had: the big apex, the medium apex, and the small FFN. I think that's part of like what fucked with me. But regardless of why, the performance was low. And the only reason I'm still in the C is because I think my recovery was reasonable. I got in when I saw signs of recovery. I had decent risk management of it. And thus far, I feel like I've been managing that recovery well. But it's just, I'm just not doing what I should be doing, or I wasn't. And right now, unfortunately, I'm playing the game of cleanup and catch up, which is not going as it should. I need this to bounce like here at 900. I cannot believe this got within a point. Fucking 2 ticks away. I just didn't get my fill, son of a bitch. That's so emblematic of like what the fuck I've been doing today. Dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. What? This is not my day, folks. I'm so happy I managed those positions as I did, because that would have fucked me up. What in the world was that? That's, hang on, that's the 1 minute. What is happening today? Today is not my day. I'm dumping even earlier. I can recognize when shit is just not going my way, and if I can somehow magically get out of it unscathed. All right, we got out of another one. Cool. I'm now in the mode of let's just fucking call it a day. Let's get out. If there's green, there's green. Like, what the fuck was that? That was just a large order right there. Someone marketed, or I can show you in real time what just happened. 29, 136, so that's 160, 250, 350, 380, 400, 415, 500, 600. Roughly somewhere between 600 and 615 contracts just got market sold. 600 to 650 contracts. Someone just market ordered that much size, destroyed it. And you can see this is the 100 tick right here, but it all happened in 1 minute. Look it. There's the 1 minute, just 1 minute down, up. That's all it is. Just 600 contracts. Someone fucking dumped it like no other. That's all it was. It's a fucking insane day. I'm up 200 on the day, so my break even is 960 now. I'm putting that in, so... All right, I'm guaranteeing myself green on the day. If my stop gets hit, because who the fuck knows what's going on in this world, my accounts will end green on the day. My stop's in. I was long 5 after being down 5K, 6K, 7K, something like that. So I've recovered from going down about 7K. I'm in the green right now, and based on that final stop position, if things turn against me, I will officially be green on the day. So there is a high odds chance that for these accounts, this is my last trade of the day. I'm just going to manage this. My stop's in. If there's another weird dip, I'm out. I'm green on the day. If it continues higher, cool. I'll make some money on the day. This is just fucking nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like, what the? Look at that. Look how ugly that is. That was just someone... I don't know if they fat fingered it, meant to do that, but someone just slammed 600 contracts. We went from 900 to 950. We dumped 50 points in that. That's $1,000 per NQ contract. And someone dumped 600 of those contracts. That's insane. This is why you got to have those protective orders. Come on. I'm thinking about just taking the $1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You can see I lost my other PAs, and that's the fuck up I was talking about. I was trading these with the big accounts by accident when I should have been trading them independently. I fucked up my trade copier. That's 100% on me. I have no one to blame but myself. That's like 100% my problem. Like that was just me not putting on the right trade copier. I should have been doing them independently. But whatever. Holy shit. All right. Are we recovering? I guess all I care about, and to clarify, because we are getting to the end of the show, I currently have a realized loss of $200. My stop is 15 points in the money, which is $300. So no matter what, if I get stopped out, I'm green on the day. I want to clarify, after very poor risk management this morning and the fact that I should have gotten out, blah, blah, blah. I'm now circling back to doing what I should be doing. My stop is in the money to a degree where no matter how today goes, as long as this is my final trade on these accounts, I end in the green. I know I do this every single day, but I just want to drive home the point of that is what trading is. If you're an active trader, I'm not talking about investing. Investing has different influences you need to consider. But as an active trader, it's just what's your risk, what's your reward, when can you reasonably move your risk up to take risk off the table or to lower it, or ideally get yourself to, no matter what, you're in the green. And then from there, maybe the trend reverses, maybe it doesn't. So as much as my call outs have been perfect, I promise you, rewind the stream. I told everyone this is the long here right at 10:29. If you don't believe me, use the timestamp on the stream, rewind to that time. As soon as this happened, I called that out as the reversal trade. I explained how to use your risk, 4 minutes later, I said your risk is at break even. Your risk has still never been tested. You're still in the trade. You would be in with your stop at 50. Like I said, this isn't like the woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is like I called it out in real time on the stream. Go check that out if you don't believe me. And since then, yeah, there was a weird fluke here at 11:27 that I still don't fully understand what happened. I'm going to be looking into it. But I like that it went from selling to now it's, I don't know, kind of pacing around. I'm looking for a reversion back up to somewhere between 75 and 80, really 75 and 85. I'm looking for somewhere in this zone if we can keep recovering. Obviously, if we start to break down and the cloud goes back red, well, that could be very problematic. I like the reversal on NQ. That's sick. All right, awesome. I like that this dip, this fluke was bought like up very aggressively. That tells me that buyers wanted to step in and they waited for that to happen. And it looks like I'm able to ride this, and I'm actually net up about 1.6K, which for me is a good turnaround. These accounts were down 7K today. So, I was down brutal, and I don't even think I was that close to getting tilted. I thought I kept it together. I was commented on my poor performance, but I think I was able to recognize that and move on with my life. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it doesn't go. But I just want to let you know your boy's going to be ending in the green today. And if you want to trade with someone else's money, I recommend checking out Apex. Code Goonie will get you 80% off. It lasts for another 3 trading sessions. 80% off code Goonie. Goonie can be used on Tradeify, Take Profit Trader, FFN, basically all the main ones that I trust. Goonie can be used as a code there. And also, if you want to see where big players are like kind of structured at, this is called Bookmap. Bookmap is currently pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, so feel free to check that out if you are interested. But anyway, folks, that's what I have for you today. We are going to be posting an update video later on today, and then we're going to be streaming again once again tomorrow morning. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure your notifications are on. We're going to do a market update after the market closes today, and then streaming once again tomorrow morning. PPI, retail sales, Supreme Court decision. There is a lot going on, so get prepared for that. Obviously, later on today, as I always do on Twitter, I'll let you guys know how the accounts end for me today. I try to be as transparent as I can and just post what's going on. So I don't know how this trade is going to pay out. Right now it's looking somewhat decent. Sorry, I know I'm on the wrong screen. Right now the trade's looking decent. I'm up about, if I were to close it right now, I'd be up about 1.8K net. Maybe it turns right here. Maybe it keeps going. I don't know. All I can tell you is I care about the risk management. And speaking of that, I'm going to move it up to 93. Okay, so that's 48. So no matter what, I'm making $600 on the day. So that's where we're at. All right, folks, that's what I have for you. I'll catch you later on today on Twitter, update video, and then streaming once again tomorrow morning. I appreciate all the good vibes. I hope you are doing well with the whipsaw. I don't think it was the easiest trading day, but obviously, as always, if you're using good risk management, you will survive the gauntlet that is trading. So that's what I have for you guys right now. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Peace.